Operations. It all comes down to 3 simple rules. Search, fight, extract. Search decides how much loot you walk away with. Fight. Not every encounter needs to end in a shootout. You just need to clear whatever's standing between you and your treasure. Extract. That's the magic moment that turns everything in your pack into yours to keep. 3 phases, all connected. Miss one and the whole run falls apart. Gear up before you head out. The better you're geared, the harder you hit and the more you can carry. But the more you lose if you go down. Go in cheap and dying won't sting as much, but you'll miss out on those juicy, high-value supply zones. Gear up and go big, or go light and gamble. Your call. Once you're in the match, forget everything else. Loot, loot, and loot some more. Documents on desks, parts and cabinets, bird nests by the roadside, trash cans tucked in corners early on. Grab everything you can get your hands on. Priority targets, safes, and air cargo containers. Snag one high-value item, and boom! You've already covered your entry cost. Now, the real question, keep pushing your luck or cash out while you're ahead. Your pack's stuffed with goodies and you're ready to extract. Then, gunfire erupts ahead. What now? Charge in, slip past unseen, or hang back and let them wear each other down before you swoop in. Just remember, die and you lose everything in your backpack except what's safely tucked away in your safe box. You choose to slip away quietly. Smart move! Your pockets are already bursting, but you can't shake that nagging sound of footsteps nearby. Even distant gunfire's enough to send your heart racing. You finally reach the extraction point. The countdown starts. Hold your nerve, don't blow it with 2 seconds left. Extracted. That weight you've been carrying the whole run finally lifts off your shoulders. Sweet relief. Then, there's the ultimate wild card. You stumble on a mandel brick. This thing's worth a small fortune, but the second you pick it up, every player on the map knows exactly where you are. Everyone's coming for you. You go from treasure hunter to hunted in the blink of an eye. Your only goal now? Stay alive long enough to decode it and cash in big. Whatever path you choose, it only counts if you make it out alive. That's operations for you. Every extraction is a story worth telling. Go make yours.
Father, I'm sorry. I couldn't find hold of her. Clover, only because you saved me can we have this adventure. Come on, Clover. It's time to move.
Rowan Walsh. Codename Rover. Class, support. Rover was once an independent outdoor explorer, documenting his expeditions across some of the world's most extreme environments on social media. His experience in wilderness survival, terrain reconnaissance, and emergency rescue makes him a valuable asset in the field. As an operator, Rover used his outdoor expertise to provide support for his team. Alongside his military dog Clover, he assists with area searches, target tracking, threat detection, and route guidance.
Thank God. All units, the Havoc security team carrying high-value materials is beached.
Rover and Clover share a deep bond built through years of working together. Using his whistle, Rover can call Clover into action. When called to action, Clover pursues nearby enemy targets, dealing damage and applying marks. If no targets are found, Clover maintains vigilant watch from Rover's side.
All right, girl. Where to next? Huh? Where are you taking me?
Hey, operators. Looking for bigger payouts? Welcome to Zero Dam. The first operations map most operators learn, with low gear requirements that make it a great spot for farming Technic Alloy. The map splits into left and right sectors, each with 7 spawn points and room for 3 squads. Standard extraction points sit on the opposite side of the map from wherever you spawn. Aggressive squads make a beeline for Administrative Center, or AC, where the map's highest value loot is concentrated. And the more squads that pile in, the fiercer the fighting gets. But if you'd rather skip the chaos, stay clear of AC, work your way around the outer routes, and loot as you go to build up your Technic Alloy reserves instead. In this episode of Play Like Pros, we'll break down practical Zero Dam strategies through the eyes of the pros. Let's look at how Team NBA from the EMEA region approached their match in the Rise series. NBA spawned at cement plants. While looting the area, they also completed their in-match task to unlock paid extraction points. Once they confirmed that no one else was using paid extraction points, NBA took the safer underground passage into AC. Going in above ground would have exposed them to teams holding AC's east or west wing, so they avoided the risk and kept their timing clean. After entering AC, NBA wiped FPOV and took their gear and supplies. Then they rotated to paid extraction point and extracted successfully. If you don't want to sprint straight for AC from spawn, take a look at how Team DE from the EMEA region approached their run. DE spawned in front of the small barracks below Visitor Center. Their recon player, Cleric, held the small barracks and used a drone to watch the area around Visitor Center. Once they confirmed that the Visitor Center squad wasn't rotating toward Major Substation, Fullerate moved to Power Backup Center, while USB-1 Shaka searched Major Substation. After clearing the substations, DE heard gunfire coming from inside AC. The squad rotated in to clean up the fight, picked up a full haul of gear, and made it out. Whether it's a pro match or your everyday game, squads looking for a fight will usually converge on AC. So, if you want to stay out of the action, take the lower half of the map instead. Whether you spawn on the left or the right, you can follow this route, loot as you go, and work your way toward extraction. That's it for this episode's Zero Dam Guide. Stay tuned for more Play Like Pros, where we'll bring you even more pro-level skills and strategies.
For some, success is measured by bodies in bags. Maybe that suits them. But to me, it's measured in hearts that keep beating. You with me?
We can't hold them off! Fall back! Move! I'll cover you! I'll get you out of here.
One goes down,
the other running away! You're gonna go for the steal! This is not relenting. It's Tomioso. He's gonna mantle though! A mistake! He's gotta be so frustrated about that mantle in order. Kudo just chows.
We did see some
Damage in the entire group stage for a reason. He's got one, he's got two, and it's not. He gets all of them! He doesn't need any help!
shifting the position of the engagement. The location
welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Delta Force Rise Series Season 2 Open Qualifiers. It's now time for the Americas region. If it's anything like EMEA just a little bit earlier, you're in for a treat. The new format has been sensational. Hey, welcome in. I'm Taylor Reflections Noble, joined by DK. How you doing, man?
Hey, pretty good. Pretty excited to be here and excited to see what Season 2 is going to be bringing in. I mean, yeah, you were on EMEA and I was watching it, and boy, was that an interesting start to the Open Qualifiers.
Absolutely interesting and super fun to see what this new season can bring with the new changes. But for all of you out there, the socials, they stay the same, and you have a chance to get involved. Make sure you're following Delta Force on all socials to keep up to date with all the comings for not only the new seasons, new upcoming, issues with the games, but also, more importantly, for our esports. Delta Force, incredible stuff. Follow, but also get involved by downloading the game. It's free 99, best price out there. And we've been talking about it. It's a new season. What's that all about? Well, let's get you caught up to speed.
Delta Force is more than a shooter. It is the next-gen extraction experience, and Operations is where the best teams put their skills to the test. Operations is a tactical extraction experience where squads fight for resources, complete objectives, eliminate opponents, and make every decision count. Only the team that combines strategy, coordination, and firepower can come out on top. In competitive play, each 7-round match features 6 squads and can last from 3 to 7 rounds. Teams earn squad points for kill points, total asset points, and Mandel Brick points. Once a team reaches 40 squad points at the end of a round, it activates Match Point, and decoding a Mandel Brick in a subsequent round secures the match win. But Season 2 raises the stakes with a new path to the finals. The top 3 teams from the group stage now advance directly, while teams finishing from 4th to 9th enter the first Survivor Day. From there, the pressure only increases. The top team from Survivor Day 1 reaches the finals, while places 2 through 6 move on alongside 10th place from the group stage into Survivor Day 2. Then comes the final chance. Survivor Day 3 brings together places 2 through 6 from Survivor Day 2 and 11th place from the group stage, with only the winner claiming the final spot in the finals. Match score points have been updated. Teams will not get match score points for decoded Mandel Bricks, and the score will be calculated as follows. First place for each match earns 10 points, second gets 6, third 5, fourth 3, fifth 2, and sixth 1. Season 2 also introduces a new way to break ties. In case of a tie in match score points, teams are first ranked by their average squad points across all rounds played in the group stage. If the tie remains, average kill points, average total asset points, and finally, average total asset value decide the ranking. And with $100,000 awarded for the group stage and another $100,000 waiting at the finals, Season 2 puts a total prize pool of $200,000 on the line. The road to the finals is tougher, the margin of error is smaller, and every round can make the difference. Welcome to the Delta Force Rise Series Americas Season 2.
It's a long road to lift a trophy, but a road every competitor must travel down. As far as the match rules go, one of the big things to take note of, new season, we're on Meltdown, and also more Mandel Brick opportunities, which gives a chance to fight for a little bit more than just going for kills. It's a good time, DK. What else are we looking at?
Well, we're looking at a little bit of a change here. We, of course, have that 2 million Technic LOA for each player that is going to be coming in, as we know. If you die, that is it. All your gear is gone, but we are going to be playing on Season Meltdown. So that means we have everything new except for N2. N2 is not here, but everything else that comes with Season Meltdown is going to be here. And of course, a nice little bit of a change coming to the rounds themselves. First round is going to be airdrop only. Round 2 to 3 is going to be Mandel Brick and the airdrop. Then 4 to 6, only the Mandel Brick. And of course, when we hit round number 7, that is going to be one of two, either Brakkesh or Space City. If it is Brakkesh, we will add the addition of the airdrop to that. Otherwise, it is going to be only Mandel Bricks as we go through Space City. And as we know, as we saw in the previous season, the operators can only be chosen twice. Round 7 is where everything is unlocked and it is free for all. You can choose whatever operator you want to bring on in. But a nice bit of an update here is, of course, as I've mentioned, right, match point. That is going to be the new thing that the squads are going to be playing for, and it only unlocks after they've secured themselves 40 plus squad points. So there is going to be a nice little bit of pressure being applied here to them. So the match point and the decoded Mandel brick is going to be the way to get to the win, right? You have to get the match point and then decode the Mandel brick in a subsequent round to take the victory and end us before we get to that 7th round.
That's right. And match point has made a big difference when it comes to our competitive format here in Season 2. It's one of the biggest additions, the most major update, and it has enticed teams to fight extra hard for the Mandel brick. Once they started figuring it out, of course, took a couple rounds in EMEA. I'm sure America's is going to be just as fast, though, if not faster. 800k per elimination. You still want to get those kills. After all, yeah, the Mandel brick gets a lot of attention, but getting the points and increasing your point tally definitely makes a difference because, hey, if you do get 2 million, you get an additional point. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. As we go on to the next graphic, though, I want to talk about what the Mandel bricks are all about. As far as rules go, they're available shortly after the match ends. Once a Mandel brick has been picked up, the squad has 4 minutes to place it in a decoding station, or it will reset. That happened earlier in EMEA. It might happen again today in the Americas. But once a Mandel brick is placed at a decoding station, a 4-minute timer will start. And if that Mandel brick decoding is interrupted by another team, the timer resets and is reduced by 30 seconds. It goes down by 30 seconds each and every time until it reaches 90 seconds, a minute and 30. And from that point, no matter how many times it's touched, it will not go below a minute 30. So you're going to have to hold on to it as long as you possibly can to try and lock it in place. If the squad decoding is eliminated during the decoding process, the countdown will pause. We didn't have that happen yet, but I'm sure it's going to happen eventually. But Mandel bricks, you want to fight for them because doing so gets you some additional rewards.
Yep, the nice bit of a change coming through here. As you can see, a little bit of bank coming in on each and every round. So all the way from round 2 and round 3, pretty similar awarding coming on that. So the first insert, right, the first time you've put it into the decoding station, you will get an extra bit of cash coming in for your squad. Then, after that, the first handover is an additional 0.1 or just 100k going to the player as well as that decoding. So good way to build up that bank. And of course, squad points, this is how we are going to be calculating them in this season, right? Same as what we've had in the previous season, with the addition of those Mandel brick decoding points now being added on top of that. So just as we saw in season 1, every elimination, every kill is going to award you 1 point, and for every bit of assets that you extract in the factors of 2 million, will be awarding you that 1 additional point as well.
That's right, and this is the big one. Mandel brick decoding points. You get points for decoding the Mandel brick. Obviously, round 1, you're not going to have a Mandel brick. It's no opportunity. But from there on forth, you get 12, 13, 14, and it goes all the way to 20 points. Now, this made the biggest difference in our EMEA qualifiers just a little bit earlier today, especially for Rain. You look at Rain going into round 6, they were so far behind DS and NBA, but because in round 6 they got the Mandel brick, they were able to secure the points, giving them an opportunity to surpass match point and ultimately secure their spot going into the regular season. We've got a lot of talented teams that we're looking at. One of them that is at least stand out to me is Fresh Reset. You got Rapid, Loud. They stay the same. They're on the same roster, but they bring in Tute. Tute coming from the roster of BTH Esports. They were in the regular season, arguably have the most hours played. They're going to be my favorite today.
Yes, sir. It's going to be quite interesting to see a few experienced players stepping out onto the battlefield, right, that have tasted the previous season a little bit. But one interesting thing that I'm noticing here is we have another NL back again. This time, it's not going to be Never Lose. It is No Limit. Nice bit of a change going through here for them, and I'm very excited to see what all these players are going to be bringing in as they are going to be stepping into our respective rounds. Speaking of which, though, here we go, our map rotation. We are going to be starting on Zero Dam, after which we head into a double dose of Brakkesh before heading into a triple serving of Space City, and if needed, there's a round 7. That is going to be one of 2. It's either going to be Brakkesh or it is going to be Space City, whichever one will come on through. And it is going to be a random choice, right? So it's not that the team in last position gets to decide where we go to. It is all random.
All random indeed, but we did get a Brakkesh in EMEA, and that's kind of where chat was leaning. They wanted to see that match come in, and it ended up happening, which was great as far as I was concerned. Obviously, airdrops are going to matter, and you get the airdrops off the first 3 maps. So Zero Down, Brakkesh, but the Mandel Bricks is going to be the main focal point for sure. Super excited to get this one underway. From what I'm hearing, the Americas region tends to be a bit more fast-paced, a bit more aggressive compared to EMEA, and I felt like the aggression was missing in Zero Down for the EMEA qualifiers, so it's going to be very nice to see Zero Down potentially be a bit more aggressive, but after all, they are playing for something important, and that is to qualify into the regular season. The big news here, only 1 spot available. You have to get first place if you want to move forward.
Yeah, that is, of course, usually the spot to try and play for. And it does apply quite a bit of pressure on the squads looking to see who will be the ones to step up and make it on through. Speaking about which, though, it seems like we are getting ready for the action right then and there as we are heading into our first match of the day. It is going to be none other than Zero Down. So very excited to see who's going to be stepping up and what reds are going to be found as the squads go about their business here.
Let's find out. It's going to be a fun one for sure. Chad, who you going for? You got 6 teams to choose from. Which one is your favorite? There was a lot of support for NBA. Mandel Brick Addicts from the last qualifier. Rain also getting a lot of attention. But who are you guys going for in this case? There's a lot to cheer from. Like I said, Fresh Reset is going to be my favorite team to move forward. But will they have the opportunity to do so? Well, we are about to find out. As far as operators goes, looks like everything is going to be pretty much as it should be. You'll notice no Tempest here. You want to save those for the Mandel Brick rounds. It's going to be so valuable heading into the future Mandel Brick opportunities. But either way, though, let's get it underway as we go into Zero Down. You mentioned earlier Americas tends to be a bit more fast-paced, at least from your knowledge.
Yep, I mean, we'll get to see whether or not they actually live up to the hype. But it is going to be go, go, go as everybody now looks to move on through. Interesting spread as we see DeFi. They are going to be starting us off over on that far western side. And of course, as to be expected, a quick early dash up into admin to see who can get their hands on the loot and maybe a few cheeky fights along the way.
Administration obviously going to have 2 teams as they typically do. FL's going to be one of them. And opposite of them should be NL. So the battle of the L's. Who's taking the L? Well, they probably won't fight at least off the rip. Obviously, our main thing is going to be the new airdrop, or the first airdrop, I should say, that's going to be coming down. And if it's anything like EMEA just a little bit earlier, PLSR should be the ones getting it. But, of course, we never know where it's going to land after all. But things are going to stay relatively quiet. The big thing that I'm looking at, obviously, is going to be admin per usual, and then LM, DFY. We might run into each other depending on where they choose to rotate, whether it be from cement or up to barracks. But as far as right now, everything relatively quiet, and honestly, we might not see anything until the final 4 minutes of this game.
Yeah, I mean, that could happen. We have seen a few different variations of when the teams decide to fight back in Season 1. Let's see if anything is going to be different going through Season 2 here. Of course, DeFi just making sure that they've got the entirety of the barracks here to themselves, just giving a quick bit of scout down onto that southern edge. Meanwhile, we are seeing a nice little bit of red loot coming out of the major substation as the players there from the side of Fresh Reset has found our first one. Right, Rapid quickly just pocketing that, stuffing it in his 3x3, making sure that nobody can touch that. But I want to see what the pacing is going to be for the teams, right? Are they going to look to get right down to business? NL, in the meantime, just kind of holding down in the basement, not going to be looking to make too much noise as we do have the players from the fellas up above moving about, looking to explore all the opportunities for that loot. An interesting thing here is I want to see if anybody is going to be able to find some crazy reds, right? Maybe we'll have a little bit of that come through in the airdrops, but for the time being, it's going to be Grimmy here from the side of Pulsar, just scouting out everything, making sure that it is sound for the time being, but with Rapid there just up ahead, could be a few nice potential engagements coming in.
You keep mentioning reds. We had a couple of 2 mil items actually in the same map earlier today in the EMEA qualifier. It was quite fun to see. Obviously, we know we love our red items. We love our expensive items coming through. Makes things a lot of fun, especially when they get into a team fight. And at one point, we had a team fight between both of the rosters that had a 2 mil item each. So I think one team who ended up winning that with the third party ended up walking away with 5 mil in total. And they were struggling just to get everything together, right, to extract in the final seconds of that respective game. I think it was game 4. But always fun for sure. Yeah, round 1, as I always like to say, is just a litmus test. It's like, okay, get your feet underneath you, get those jitters out of the way. You're now in the qualifier. You know, obviously first place is up for grabs. You want to try and get that. But this is your chance to kind of, you know, take things maybe a little bit slow, right, and fill out what your competition is going to be bringing to the table.
I mean, sure, right? Might as well try and get a good read on what to expect moving into Brakkesh as well as Space City. This could, in some way, give you a pretty decent idea of what to expect, at least with regards to aggression. But as we know, and as we've seen multiple times before, the moment they start pulling levers and they start going for extractions, that is where these teams switch into a high gear and they get ready for the action. They just want to rush into that. And of course, as we said before, right, only one team can move on from today into the big event itself. So it is going to be some pretty high stakes. But I like the awareness that we are currently looking at. The teams just making sure that there won't be any surprises, as the squad there from LM, like a monster, looking to get themselves situated right on that first initial airdrop. Still a few seconds away. But in the meantime, we've got FR as well as Pulsar moving up towards them as well. So you can bet yourself $1 that there's going to be quite a bit of a fight breaking out around that first airdrop.
Yeah, 3 teams. This is going to be fun to watch because you go back to the earlier qualifiers, there was not a single fight on both of the airdrops. This time around, we might have 3 teams all fighting in conjunction with each other to try and secure the first bit of loot. And for LM, they are going to be the first and closest ones to it. They're taking an early rush, 8 seconds remaining, maybe exposing themselves, or overexposing themselves, I should say. But then again, maybe it's going to allow for a quick exit. Big fan of their play style. When I look at LM, you know, comparative hours played to everybody else, they are on the low end of the spectrum. I won't call out the amount of hours, at least that's on the sheet. But I love the fact that despite that, they're still taking it to the veterans, and they're going in and trying to get as much as they possibly can. And in fact, they are going to loot successfully the airdrop and get out of there relatively unscathed. But DFY just in front of them, so it's not like they're going to have a clean exit. In fact, they're already taking a little bit of shots.
Yeah, and I mean, of course, a little bit of that applied pressure coming through, especially now with the side of LM getting their hands on the AWM. So a lot of M's now all over the place, and hopefully they can potentially get over onto the extraction, get that AWM out, and that is going to come in quite handy in our Mandel Brick rounds. But it's going to be DeFi currently just locking Pulsar in position. As you can see, Rogue scouting something out. And this is the difficulty of kind of moving up from these edges, right? You are putting yourself in such a vulnerable position. But a good play coming through from the side of DeFi, as they do have the setup, but are they going to be able to convert that into some potential takedowns here for themselves?
And they'll go ahead and back away. They were just testing the waters a bit, quite literally, as they do back up. LM, I've noticed after getting that airdrop, go up north towards admin. So admin could be seeing 3 respective teams relatively soon to make things fun. From Pulsar, just ahead of them is going to be FR. And FR, especially when I talk about them, you know, fresh reset, having that experience from the last season is so incredibly valuable. You got to think in the qualifier, they're going to be cool, calm, and collected in the engagements and the fights, and more importantly, be able to capitalize on a down. In this case, for Grimy, if he pokes his head out a little bit too long, maybe Tute ends up taking him down. But for the meantime, things are going to be quiet. And for Tute, he does have to be a little bit cautious. I mean, DK, he's kind of split from his team. He goes down. The rest of his roster has to make a decision to go back and help him or leave him to die.
Yeah, and it's going to be a really, really tough decision. It all depends on what it is that Tute has on him at that particular point in time. But, of course, no surprise as to why these teams are really just kind of hugging the edge of the map down on this southern side, as Pulsar now we'll be having rather a few of those pulsing hits coming in their direction. Our second airdrop is going to start coming down very, very soon, and that is exactly what these teams are waiting for. DeFi really close to where things could look to get to happen. As the extraction is just here, they could look to maybe just deny anybody else from taking that paid extraction. It's all going to be dependent on whether or not they've actually been able to secure themselves one of the tasks to do just that. Meanwhile, to drop all the way up to the north, really close to admin, So the team closest at this point is going to be, of course, the players coming through there from Fresh Reset, right? They have the least amount of distance to cover to get their hands on that second drop. Unfortunately, there's not going to be any crazy weapons in there, but it might be some really decent loot up there.
Definitely could be. That's valuable, setting yourself up for the first Mandelbrick round. Chad, I'm struggling to see. Is No Limit the favorite? I don't know. Seems like No Limit might be the favorite. All you guys are posting is NL. NL. Although I do see a BTH come through. Maybe that's extra support for NL because the BTH member is now on NL. Look at this trap. RDG. So quiet, so calm. But here we go. The fireworks pop off. And the first death is going to come in. Matter of fact, make that 2 and 3 is LM. LM gets taken down in a blink of an eye. The trap was sprung. And LM loses their life to NL, who now is at 2.5 mil, but most importantly, striking first and admin. We didn't get this at EMEA, so I think you're right, DK Americas. It's popping off.
Yeah, and of course, remember, LM was the team that had the AWM on them, so they have now just lost that. So it is a little bit of a oof, but you know what? It is just the way that cookie crumbles. Meanwhile, we are going to be looking at DeFi pushing right up behind the players here from FL. As you can hear the shots are coming in from that southern position. They have to guard it to unlock the play here. Is anything going to come through? Not just yet, but the shots are definitely raining in. We've not seen major connections, but DeFi has been put down to 2. This could be a great opportunity now for FL to continue to apply the pressure here. The fellas could have this one in the back. Oh, here we go. Shot quick duck in behind the cover. And now is where we are going to be seeing a lot of that Luna play coming through. Beautiful play here from SNK.
Yeah, not bad at all. SNK hitting some great shots. In the meantime, you know this Fresh Reset is going to get that airdrop. Nearly 800,000 in loot that they're going to be able to get away with. But back on board with the fight as Pulsar continues to push up. FL just going to be up ahead of them. It is going to be a good old-fashioned 3v3 now that another team has been officially taken down. FL takes priority, and SNK hits some wonderful shots, dropping another Pulsar member, bringing them down to just 2. And does FL want to pressure the issue? Do they want to continue to push forward? No, they don't. They actually pump the brakes. This gives Pulsar potentially an opportunity to get their teammate back into play, but NL now on board with them. They get onto the flank of FL. They managed to get 2 drops. FL in deep, deep trouble at the moment with only 1 player remaining, and now they probably second guess. Would it have been better to just push forward as opposed to turtling up?
Well, let's see if anything is going to work here for them as FL now just trying to lick their wounds. They've been brought down to 1. Balsa also quickly trying to just bounce back. As you can see, the whole squad pretty much now back on their feet as they continue. 2 hits just there on the side. So SNK now going to try and do anything available to him to just survive as long as possible. Is there going to be a way out of this? Not quite sure. But from what we've seen, that this extraction on the far southern side is not going to be usable. So this does complicate things ever so slightly. Up comes Grimy. Looking to close this one off. You can hear the footsteps up in the water. Just a quick, brief moment.
Yeah, he knows. He knows that Grimy should be able to close it out. Oh, he thought he spotted SNK. Goes prone to the water. Grimy's still so patient, so cautious. And I swear to you, he knows he's there, but as he keeps looking around, maybe, just maybe SNK has been able to avoid the hunt of FL, maybe even Pulsar. Gotta think for SNK. If he plays this incorrectly, he's surely going to be dead, but good on him for staying alive as long as he possibly has. Rogue is going to be going off to his left-hand side. Here comes the scout. It's been shot out. They now know where he's at. Grimy's going on the attack. SNK is diving into the water.
Well, here we go. Can he find the fish? That is going to be a big one. It's like shooting fish in a barrel without the barrel. All the exact same fish, but he does land a few hits. SNK now quickly just trying to get the heck out of dodge. The shots follow up very quick succession there. Oh, down he goes, and that is FL getting the ticket punch. Out they go. Now, we still have 3 teams up and at it. NL all the way up in the north. Pulsar feeling pretty good at this point, but of course, the players coming in from FR, they've not yet been able to find themselves enough value to convert all of that into actual points for themselves. So Fresh Reset, they know exactly what they need to do But the question is, can they do it? Are they going to be able to upset that extraction?
The extraction for NL is at least in their near future, you would have to assume anyways, and they have done a phenomenal job this game. I mean, they've coming out with 4.4 million profit. That's so every 2 mil, by the way, chat, every 2 mil that you get, that's an additional point. So they're looking at 2 additional points going to their total. Obviously trying to hit the 40 mark for match point. So that's 2 plus the eliminations that they've been able to secure, which will be 5 at the moment. And yeah, I think they're sitting unofficially like 13 points. You know, I mean, that is a great game number 1 and one of the strongest game ones we have seen today in either of our qualifiers for sure. But make no mistake about it, for Pulsar, they've also slayed out and done a great job. I think they're sitting at about unofficially like 8 or so points. Still very, very close. It's only game number 1. But for NL, clearly the crowd favorite. They should be walking away with the most profit in the moment. But it's not over with just yet. They still have a couple minutes before the extraction does open up. And that gives plenty of time for FR or Pulsar to get up there and challenge them.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be quite exciting to see a bit of a steal come through here. We have seen a bit of contention in the previous season. I want to see that now continue to be the name of the game here in Season 2. So far, it does seem like Americas are living up to a little bit of the hype here, right? Bringing us quite a bit of action. But with 3 teams remaining and just over 3 minutes remaining on the overall match clock, it is going to be a pretty tough run to see who will get out of this with decent value. And in the process, NL actually dropping under 4 mil, so they now only have 1 additional point that they're going to be getting.
Yeah, they'll take it, though, if they can get it. 1 additional point is still an additional point, after all. Jute needs to really pump the brakes here. He's isolated. He's by himself. He's kind of been the guy who loves to roam about, but obviously that exposes his risk if he does decide to fully commit. Pulsar now starting to join into the mix. 1.5 remaining on the extraction. Grimy is once again going to go for the scout opportunity. Nobody's going to be spotted, so they know this room is going to be relatively clear. Take out some of the bots, but Jute, again, is going to be the main guy that I'm going to be on the lookout for to potentially solo challenge that of NL. So he does see Grimy off into the distance. It's at the moment taking his time, and I think now that he saw Grimy, probably going to choose to focus on Pulsar as opposed to going for NL.
It'd be a very viable decision being made right here. And it's now with just a minute left before that extraction takes place. Whatever they do, they have to do it rather quickly because the timer is ticking. And I'm surprised to see Pulsar not trying to maybe contest the drop themselves as well, working their way through that northern position that we did see them move up in towards, but instead it is going to be contention down on the southern edge. They are going to be looking for those elimination points, and here we go. It is going to be Pulsar, and of course, fresh reset, getting right into the action. Grimy quickly trying to push on up, but a quick trade though instead has been found on towards Rapid, and now Dute needs to back off because the utility, the incendiary, is flying all over the place.
And they're going to be officially out of the way. FR gets eliminated for Pulsar. That is big news for them. But can they also get up there and challenge NL? I don't think that's going to be the case. And at one point, I thought NL was actually going to join into the third party, but they end up backing away. It was Zamanko, who's on your screen now. He looked as if he was going to be pursuing that fight, but ultimately doesn't. All 3 get out. Massive, massive game coming out from NL. Walking away unofficially with about 13 points. For Pulsar, they might get away with around 12, depending on what ends up happening. But for them, also a phenomenal game. But without a doubt, it's going to be NL walking away with the most of it as they scout to see if there's any remaining members who didn't extract. It's all going to be clear. 50 seconds. A great game number 1, which did not disappoint. Americas is looking hot and spicy. You know, in EMEA, we didn't have a single shot fired until the last 4 minutes of round number 1. And on top of that, I think we didn't even have a team eliminated until like maybe minute 3 or 3 minutes left on the clock. This time around, we lose 4 total teams, 1 fully extracted, and only 1 team remaining on the map. Talk about exciting.
Yeah, I mean, well, everybody bringing their part onto the action that we've seen now in our very first round. But that makes me super excited to see what the subsequent rounds are going to be bringing in, especially once we step over into Brakkesh. because that is where a lot is going to be happening here. And of course, we're about to come to the end of our very first round, as there are just the final few moments left. That is going to be Rogue giving the final send-off, and that is it. Done and dusted.
Yeah, not bad at all, man. I think it's going to be 13-11. NL leading the way, Pulsar just below them. But for the first game, to get 13 points is quite significant. But more importantly, I love the way NL played that, Pulsar included. Pulsar, you could tell, they've got the gunny. They can hit their shots when needed. That's going to make the Mandelbrick fight potentially very, very exciting heading into the future rounds, which, speaking of which, will be Brakkesh rounds number 2. But off to a great start, I would say, for the Americas region. I think it's going to be very, very close at the top. But I could also see, DK, I could also see a bit of a point disparity between second place on down to even third place. I think number 1 and number 2 might make a run for it. Nobody's going to be able to catch them.
I mean, that's what it seems like, right? But as we saw in EMEA, right, the Mandelbrick can come in clutch when used at the exact moment. So unfortunately, it'll have to be seen exactly who's going to be the team to run away with it. And we'll only know by the end of the day, but excited to see all the heat and surprises that these teams can look to bring on through.
And they're going to bring surprises all day long. We still got 6 more rounds ahead of us if it doesn't end early. Great game number 1, a good litmus test as to what the Americas region is going to bring. Coming up next is going to be Brakkesh. Don't go anywhere.
One down, the other running away. You gotta go for the steal. Is not relenting. This Tommy Ozo, he's gonna mantle though. A mistake. He's gotta be so frustrated about that mantle. Kudo just chows.
Did you see some
Damage in the entire group stage for a reason. He's got 1, he's got 2, and it's not. He gets all of them. He doesn't need any help.
really shifting the position of the engagement. The engagement going to a different level, but look at this way. And Max is putting the pressure on. They're gonna fight.
Great play. End up not being needed. Nobody moved fast enough. Nightmare lights him all up.
Father, I'm sorry. I couldn't find hold of her.
Clover, only because you saved me can we have this adventure. Come on, Clover. It's time to move.
Rowan Walsh, codename Rover, class Support. Rover was once an independent outdoor explorer, documenting his expeditions across some of the world's most extreme environments on social media. His experience in wilderness survival, terrain reconnaissance, and emergency rescue makes him a valuable asset in the field. As an operator, Rover used his outdoor expertise to provide support for his team. Alongside his military dog Clover, he assists with area searches, target tracking, threat detection, and route guidance.
Thank God. All units, the Havoc security team carrying high-value materials is key.
Rover and Clover share a deep bond built through years of working together. Using his whistle, Rover can call Clover into action. When called to action, Clover pursues nearby enemy targets, dealing damage and applying marks. If no targets are found, Clover maintains vigilant watch from Rover's side.
All right, girl. Where to next? Huh? Where are you taking me?
Operations. It all comes down to 3 simple rules. Search, fight, extract. Search decides how much loot you walk away with. Fight, not every encounter needs to end in a shootout. You just need to clear whatever's standing between you and your treasure. Extract. That's the magic moment that turns everything in your pack into yours to keep. 3 phases, all connected. Miss one and the whole run falls apart. Gear up before you head out. The better you're geared, the harder you hit and the more you can carry. But the more you lose if you go down. Go in cheap and dying won't sting as much, but you'll miss out on those juicy, high-value supply zones. Gear up and go big, or go light and gamble. Your call. Once you're in the match, forget everything else. Loot, loot, and loot some more. Documents on desks, parts and cabinets, bird nests by the roadside, trash cans tucked in corners early on. Grab everything you can get your hands on. Priority targets, safes, and air cargo containers. Snag one high-value item, and boom! You've already covered your entry cost. Now, the real question, keep pushing your luck or cash out while you're ahead. Your pack's stuffed with goodies and you're ready to extract. Then, gunfire erupts ahead. What now? Charge in, slip past unseen, or hang back and let them wear each other down before you swoop in. Just remember, die and you lose everything in your backpack except what's safely tucked away in your safe box. You choose to slip away quietly. Smart move! Your pockets are already bursting, but you can't shake that nagging sound of footsteps nearby. Even distant gunfire's enough to send your heart racing. You finally reach the extraction point. The countdown starts. Hold your nerve, don't blow it with 2 seconds left. Extracted. That weight you've been carrying the whole run finally lifts off your shoulders. Sweet relief. Then, there's the ultimate wild card. You stumble on a mandel brick. This thing's worth a small fortune, but the second you pick it up, every player on the map knows exactly where you are. Everyone's coming for you. You go from treasure hunter to hunted in the blink of an eye. Your only goal now? Stay alive long enough to decode it and cash in big. Whatever path you choose, it only counts if you make it out alive. That's operations for you. Every extraction is a story worth telling. Go make yours.
Welcome back, everyone, to Delta Force Rise Series Season 2 Open Qualifiers for the Americas region. I'm Taylor Reflections, and we're joined by DK. Starting off with Zero Down, a great opening start for NL. Let's see what they can do in map number 2, which is going to be on Brakkesh. Our first chance to see if the teams are willing to go all out and fight for the Mandel Brick. That should be the main focal point, but you go back to EMEA earlier today, nobody wanted to fight for the Mandel Brick. They were quick to pick it up, but they didn't do anything with it. In fact, it despawned twice. It was quite disappointing to see, but sometimes that's just how it goes. But DK, I think the Americas region is going to be a lot different. Teams are going to want to fight for it because you get a huge point bonus, right? I believe, 12 points in addition if you're able to lock in that first Mandel Brick.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be 12 points in this round, 13 in the next one, and then it keeps going up to, I think, 16, and round 7 is 20 points all of a sudden. So, yeah, a lot of value being placed on these Mandel Bricks, and I'm hoping to see the teams really push for Mandel Brick decoding, and it's going to be easy, right? It's going to be right there in front of the museum. You don't even have to walk far to get your hands on it, so... yeah, love to see the teams really bringing in the pressure here. Based on what we saw on Zero Dam, I believe it might be quite feasible to suspect that the teams are going to at least get one Mandel Brick decoding happening. But of course, it'll all come down to what the teams essentially decide to do. But yeah, it's going to be a big revealing play to see what they decide.
Big indeed, man. It's going to be a lot of fun for sure. And, you know, you also have the airdrop to consider. And when it comes to the already from Zero Down, it was NL who managed to get out with the which is going to be big for the Mandel Brick fights. Question is, though, how hard are they willing to go? They walk away with a total of 5 kills, which is big. But Pulsar was another big talking point. They don't get the extraction. However, they still walk away with 6 total kills, which could be 6 points. I think they're trailing by 2 over, or should be behind that of No Limit. But either way, again, a good test to see where the teams are going to be sitting. And as we do see it officially, Pulsar is going to be 2 points behind. No Limit at 13, Pulsar at 11. For everybody else, much further down. It's still early going, DK, but you could fall behind very quickly.
Yeah, that's the thing here is that, you know, teams should try and avoid getting too complacent here, thinking like, oh, we're safe. You might not be as safe as you think you are, and especially if it's a race for points. You know, the first team to get to 40 points or more unlocks that match point. So there's going to be some pretty high stakes coming through on that, especially now with Mandel Brick being strewn all throughout the remainder of the day. It is going to be a big case of hopefully not hot potato to see who's going to be the one to get their hands and get a successful extraction. But I think what's also going to be quite useful here on Brakkesh is, of course, that first airdrop that comes down also is going to provide teams with the opportunity to get their hands on some pretty spicy weapons as well. So we could see some focus being placed on that as we've had in the previous season. But sometimes the teams, they just couldn't be phased, right? They are solely focused on the Mandel Brick.
That's true, and I think they should be. With 12 points up for grabs, that is massive. That's equivalent, of course, to 12 total kills. We look at the spawn predictions going into Brakkesh. Priority on Museum is going to be LM, Defy, Fresh Reset, Pulsar. That's going to be great for them. But most importantly, they also have the chance to maybe spawn over in Tower of Babel. Now, Tower of Babel didn't see any activity in the first time, or at least in the first round, which was a missed opportunity when it came to loot. Now, this time around, I think Tower of Babel is going to command some attention and some respect.
Yeah, I mean, especially if you're trying to secure as much value as possible. So that is going to be one of the additional focal points to come through here. But main thing is going to be that T1 spawn. Look at to see who can get over to Museum as fast as possible. Wait for that Mandel Brick to become available and then get this party underway. Because, I mean, the craziest round that we've seen has been a 17 swap play coming through on a Mandel Brick, right? It changed hands 17 times in one round.
What? When did that happen?
Yes.
Last season?
Yes.
It's actually insane. It changed hands 17 times. Did anybody even end up winning?
Yeah, no, we have seen a few extractions come through that. I believe Evil Geniuses was one of the teams that had a very high swap over rate, and they actually got the extraction. We did see one where Nightmare got their hands on an extraction as well. So there's a lot of opportunities for these teams to really contest the Mandel Bricks. And I think now, in addition to so much value being placed on the Mandel Brick, I can't see why they wouldn't be doing it.
EG, man, they were incredible in the last season. Ended up winning the entire thing, taking home $60,000. And that's something to consider, right? When you think about the qualifiers and what's at stake and what's at play for. Getting first place today gives you an opportunity to earn a lot of money, but also an opportunity to go into the next stage, right? Go to the Invitational, which is even more money and a chance to play in front of a live crowd. That right there, for me, is one of the coolest aspects. If you guys haven't been to a Delta Force event, they are phenomenal. I had a chance to go to Hangzhou last year, and to really see the scene, to see Delta Force and what it is, especially over in China, is just like, it's just insanity. Fans are so passionate, and the production value is just incredible. So that's what's at stake, right? To play for that, and for many, or for at least several of our competitors today in the qualifiers for the Americas region, they've already been in the regular season. They know what it's like to play against EG, to play against Space Station, to play against FaZe, right? All these other rosters. They want to be there again. Now, this time around, nobody goes with Tempest, which tells me one of two things, right? They want to save it for later on when they start to really get a feel for how the Mandel Brick rounds are going to go. Or, they just don't value it. And I highly doubt that's going to be the case. In EMEA, Tempest was used pretty much every single time they got a chance. Obviously up to 2 times. This time, not the case, man. Which, DK, I don't know if that's shocking to you or not, but for me, it is a bit of a surprise.
Yep, it means the teams are planning to use it a little bit later on, right? For now, it's a bit of a litmus test, right? Because this is the first Mandel Brick run where they get to see exactly what the opposing sides are going to be looking to bring on through. But speaking about what the teams are bringing through, I'm looking at the operator loadouts that they've decided to go for here. We do see a lot of Ulurus, a lot of Gizmos coming through, and then, of course, a few different variations in that, right? We've got some Lunas here. We do have some Raptors as well as a few of those, not quite D-Wolves, right? I'm trying to figure out who am I looking at here. But yeah, definitely a decent loadout. Ooh, Stingers. There we go. Right. Forgot the name for a second. We can see some Stingers in the mix as well. So very interesting to see. I mean, in the previous season, we did see a lot of Shepherd being used alongside Uluru on this map. But maybe the teams have a kind of different tactic in mind when it comes to playing a double Brakkesh round.
LM is going to be the first team to strike while the iron is hot, picking up the Mandel Brick, already heading to a decoding station. FR, Fresh Reset will be in this vicinity, so they have a chance to attack, and they're going to be very, very close, specifically Loud, off into Stairwell, just off to the right-hand side. He's going to have that high ground. As soon as Jonas peeks, it should be Loud with the advantage. Jonas forced to back away. Fresh Reset applying the pressure early on and getting an early drop. Remember, all three of these members on Fresh Reset were playing in the previous season, some of them coming over from BTH Esports. They know what they're doing. They didn't have the best Season 1, but they want to come in hot for Season 2. But good follow-up from Jonas to get the drop onto Rasta, and that's going to help their case just a little bit longer. Both teams cannibalizing each other. At least one player going to be down, but LM still in control.
Yeah, good healthy exchange coming through on either which side. In the meantime, we do see the players there from NL going for the loot as they are getting their hands on some decent reds rolling on through, but the pressure is starting to mount up here towards the Mandel Break. As you can see, Jinx now also starting to try and squeeze his way on through, quickly trying to wrap around. LM, meanwhile, trying to pick their wounded back up and keep the pressure on as best they can. But so far, it's looking pretty good, right? LM still managing to maintain control here. But are they going to be able to hold on much longer as the pressure will continue to mount? And FL now looking to apply as much as they can. Ooh, there we go. A quick interruption.
Attention, operator.
Definitely so, man. Again, FL, I should say, came in a little bit later on. Third party between FR as well as LM ends up paying off. We lose another team. Defiant's going to drop. DFY now gone. That is absolutely unbelievable. We're not even 3 minutes in, and we've already lost 2 complete teams.
Yeah, told you. They don't mess around. They don't mess around when it comes to Americas. They just bring the action, bring the heat. But surprisingly enough, it does seem like Fable didn't receive a whole lot of love down on that far southern side, as NL also now going to be rolling on up. They did get some loot, and now they are focusing their efforts back over on towards the Mandel Brick itself. Pulsar also keeping a little bit of distance, going through their loot phase, making sure that they get some value in on the bag as well. But a quick look back at what happened here from Pulsar, as you can see, D-Fight just so abruptly getting swept away.
Yeah, they weren't expecting that. They'll be at 2 points. I know they're going to be disappointed. Wish they could replay that fight for sure, but they're just going to have to chalk it up, go next. Next up will be Brakkesh one more time, and hopefully some lessons will be learned. And now get on board with Pulsar, who's way off in the northern side, way off in the distance. They're going to play for the airdrop, and they should be relatively uncontested because everybody else is going to be fully focused on this Mandel Brick. Again, 12 additional points if you get the Mandel Brick decoded. That is a lot, especially if you give the fact where Pulsar, like let's say NL, for example, currently sitting at 14 points, right? That'll put them up to 26. That is significant and getting already very close in just 2 games to the 40-point threshold. Good job threading the needle, forcing Jinx back. That was an excellent throw.
Yeah, now let's see, can they make that accuracy work for them when it comes to the Mandel Brick itself? Not quite sure how exactly that is going to come in handy, but you know what? Love to see whatever they can bring on through. NL, the Moko is going to be keeping a very tight angle here, trying to see if there's any way for them to sneak on forward. Right, as we know, there is going to be a reward, if you can call it that. Every time the Mandel Brick changes hands, there is some value in that as well, aside from the fact that, you know, points are up for grabs. In the meantime, we do see Pulsar. They are going to be going straight for our very first airdrop here. As you can see, those reds from the ammo now just loading on in. AWM coming into play yet again, so there could be some more pressure mounting very soon.
45 seconds to pressure needs to mount. SFL is going to walk away with a relatively free Mandel Brick. Once they took down Defy, man, they just continued to push up, and they've done such a great job holding on. SNK has been a star-studded player so far. He's been unbelievable. But I don't think this Mandel Brick is going to be decoded just yet. NL is also starting to move through. Jinx has a line of sight that he's going to have to lock in, man, because with 20 seconds remaining, you know there's going to be a mad sprint, a mad dash in order to touch the Mandel Brick. But 15 seconds, FL actually could lock it in. It is very, very possible. But NL, I think, does get a touch. Potentially, it's going to be hard. There it is. They finally managed to get it for themselves, and that is big for NL. They've fallen behind Pulsar just a little bit, But Pulsar, after getting the airdrop, have now rotated up. They're also into the fight. We're going to lose a lot of bodies coming up in the next 5 minutes.
Yep, these teams mean business. They are here. They want to get their hands on that mantle break. They want to walk away with the first 12 points coming through from it. But I like the positioning that we have here, right? NL coming through on the southern side, FL towards the north. And then Pulsar just trying to get a good read on what is happening ahead of them. Not looking to make too much noise, but they do have a bit of company here, as you can see. Fresh reset, just holding up along the position here. FL got to go back for the steal. Slowly but surely, we are whittling that countdown further and further down. Very soon, we'll get it onto a 90-second decode, and that is going to be applying quite a bit of pressure on our teams.
Definitely so. Loving this battle between NL and FL, respectively, both very close when it comes to the total score. It was still early goings, only map number 2. Pulsar will gain an additional point to put them up to 18. Man, if they can hit 20 and get the mantle break and hit 32 points in game 2, I mean, just talk about incredible. But it doesn't guarantee you success. You go to EMEA qualifiers, mantle break addicts, they were the first team to hit match point. Map number 4, but they couldn't close it out. We went all 7, and Rain stole the win away from them. They did a great job doing so. FL still in control for the time being. Everybody taking their time. But who's going to be the next one to attack? I'm thinking it's going to be Pulsar.
Yeah, I mean, I have to agree with you on that. Looking at how they are just currently moving through and the awareness that they are showing here, it wouldn't surprise me if they were the next one to try and mount a bit of an assault here. It is going to be FR sneaking up on FL. Ooh, Light's got to watch out. Fortunately, though, he is on the opposite side of that wall, but the lighter side is going to come through, and I like what I'm seeing here as FR looks to get this party underway, but FL still very much hugging the edges, don't want to get themselves exposed. Pulsar, though, with a quick Uluru play coming through here as everything else starts to fly all over the place. But who's going to be the one to get the takedowns?
That's the question. Who is it going to be? 40 seconds remaining on the Mandel Brick. It's close, it's tense, and the battle on the outskirts is well underway. Rogue going to drop like, and it looks as if maybe Pulsar is going to be able to take down FL. Only one more player remaining. And it is, in fact, going to be, FR now taking the Mandel Brick for themselves. FL fully gone. That's now 3 teams out of the way. Pulsar able to recover. They're at an immaculate 22 points, which is just insane after only 2 games, and it can get even better if they're able to get the Mandel Brick. They have plenty of time, but as we transition to FR, they're making the push. Pulsar's able to recover. All 3 members are going to be up relatively soon. But the question is, can they hold on? Will this full frontal assault from NL be too much to handle? Zmako is going to be pushing up, and he very well could be the deciding factor for this NL roster.
Yeah, so much pressure now on their shoulders, and of course, Pulsar already up onto 21 points. So if they can get their hands on that Mandel Brick, it is going to be a very comfortable day for them, sitting with potentially 33 plus points. That, of course, is all going to be dependent on whether or not they can find even more eliminations. There's at least 6 available to them. So Pulsar is going to try and bring the whole entire team back on their feet. Beautiful trade coming up here from Tute. Just sending it over onto the side of NL. Quick play with the Luna here as well. Just trying to make sure that they stay down. FR, though, are going to try and steal it yet again. They do succeed. And with that, we are at the minimum decoding time. 90 seconds on the clock. And that is going to be a slow 90 seconds coming through here for the side of FR.
You can tell for everybody it's do or die. They're not concerned with looting up. They're not concerned with extracting with the loot. They'll focus on that once the Mandel Brick is done and dusted. For now, their focus is only on the Mandel Brick. Night and day difference from EMEA earlier. Americas, you guys are wild, but I absolutely love it. For FR, a great spot. Love this line of sight for Tute. Being able to see directly over just to the left of the Mandel Brick. Loud is going to take a position right next to it. This is pretty common. He'll hold on to it as long as he possibly can. 45 seconds remaining. Ghosty getting some information, which means NL are going to make an attempt to try and steal it back.
Well, if there's one team that needs to make a big brain flex, it is going to be the side here of Pulsar. As you can see already, 22 points on the board here for them. Are they going to be able to get their hands on it first? It is going to be a mad dash. FR trying to contest it, but it does seem like Pulsar have it in the bag here. just need to get it confirmed. That is all that is needed for the time being, but the pressure is on. The utilities are flying in, and it's absolute mayhem erupting around this decoding station.
Yeah, Gurby gets taken down just in the nick of time, allowing FR to hold control. 5 seconds and counting. Is this it? I think it's going to be. And FR does, in fact, get it extracted. Well done. That's going to elevate them up to first place, even over Pulsar now with 23 points. Again, just to reiterate, getting the Mandelbrick and getting it decoded gives you an additional 12 points for round number 2. It only scales up from here. It'll be 13 next game. But for FR, talk about the come up. They go from almost dead last now to first place, and that's the effect the Mandelbrick brings.
I mean, that is pretty crazy. It means that in the next Brakkesh, right, round number 3, FR just need to do exactly that again and also pick up 4 kill points, right? That will then put them very comfortably on 40 points. So, yeah, some pretty high stakes coming through here, but it's not over just yet. It's going to be Ghosty reaching in and picking up a little bit of that toot action here. And this is a slow bit where you can now continue to rake up those points. It is going to be RDG and the rest of NL trying to clear out the compound. They know that there's at least somebody in the surrounding area. But FR seems like they're going to look to make a run for it, right? We've got Loud and Rapid, the final 2 players standing between NL and even more points on the board.
Ooh, I think they actually might fight. This could be big.
Extraction point is
Control.
marked on your map.
3 more additional points. Misses the shots. Hits the second, though. Well done. Rapid will go up to try and get the full finish if he can. Again, every elimination brings 1 point. That is big news, especially if you're FR currently in first place. Arguably, they could walk away with a total of 26 points if they can find the remainder of NL. I think for them, the fight is definitely going to be worth it. Monko is going to be onto his teammate's shoulders, tries to extract or at least get out and try to get him back into the fight. But I don't know if there's going to be enough time. FR has some decent pressure.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of pressure on them, but, you know, this is a great opportunity for FR to try and see if they can secure any additional points. They might as well just try and bag it all up. But with that 1 takedown already in the bag, Ghosty could potentially present them with another opportunity. RDG right on the opposing end, and they try to sandwich them, but instead down they go as Loud wraps that one up, and 1 more left for NL. This could be absolutely brutal now coming through from the side of FR.
That was a brutal push from Ghosty going in there in a 1v2. Obviously, he doesn't know it's going to be a 1v2, but that was such a reckless, bold push. But I guess at this point, what are you going to do? You're in 3rd place. You've already got 14 points, and it kind of really, I guess, doesn't affect things overall in the big scheme of things. But again, it gives a valuable point over to FR. The rich get richer at this point. RDG, the last hope for the side of NL. All he can do is just listen on as here's the footsteps getting closer and closer. He'll try to spring a trap. We saw Ghosty's attempt. It just did not go well. So for RDG, if it goes a little bit better, that'll be great. Still, they can get an additional 2 points. And for RDG, he's dipping. He's out. He's trying to get away and potentially get a res, or is he just going to fully leave? I think he might just fully try and abandon this fight.
Yeah, he's trying to get the heck out of Dodge and also at the same time potentially maybe go towards the extraction itself. Either that or you might go up to the north for the no-back. So we'll see pretty soon what is going to be happening here. But RDG is going to be hunted down as FR. Ooh, actually not. They are going for the race, looking to bring themselves fully into this fight. And this could be a golden opportunity for RDG to play the upset.
That would be huge. Massive indeed. A lot of time remaining, though. But FR miraculously manages to get all 3 players back up for NL. RDG, yep, he's just going to continue to dip. And I think for him, man, going to just try and extract with whatever he's got. That's going to be his play for sure. That'll be happening in about a minute's time. Question is, though, will FR pursue him and try and get over to where he's currently at? 29 points, DK. 29 points. If they can pick up NL and get out, 30 points in 2 games is insane.
Yeah. I mean, that means that they just need to have 1 more successful run, and that puts them right on match point, right? So the potential for an early end to the day is very, very possible at this point. Who would have thought that we could maybe see that on our very first day of Open Qualifiers? But now it is going to be the big old chase coming through here from FR as they are in hot pursuit, and I'll just ahead of them. But the countdown is in under 30 seconds. So if they want to try and do anything at this point, it has to happen now, or they can just wave goodbye to it.
Marty G backed away. Oh my goodness, didn't even have a shot. Didn't even have a chance or a prayer. Gets decimated, absolutely annihilated, and FR will celebrate, as they should. Walk away with the Mando brick. They walk away with all the loot. They have 30 points in just 2 games. Absolute insanity. Going into the next round, yeah, if they get another Mando brick, they will surpass easily the point threshold. They'll be at 40. Do they close it out in 4? That's my question. It didn't happen with Mandelbrick Addicts. It continued on to Game 7, but, yo, these guys are on a different level.
Yeah, I mean, they're not holding back on anything, just absolutely aggressing out onto the rounds themselves. But that's what we love to see, right? Teams really playing as aggressively as they can. And I think FR, they are going to be feeling very, very satisfied with their performance on the second round. But now, of course, next up, we are going to be heading into another Brakkesh. So it's going to be interesting to see, can they look to replicate the exact same efforts, right? That is going to be the big thing to look at.
Well, it's definitely possible. Right now, they're on fire, and they're looking to make America's region look easy. After all, they were already in Season 1. They're looking to return in Season 2. But I'm sure we still have a long road ahead of us in a guaranteed map number 3, which is going to be on Brakkesh, coming up next.
One down, the other running away! You gotta go for the steal! Is not relenting. Tommy Ozo, he's gonna mantle though! A mistake! He's got so frustrated about that mantle, and Arkudo just chows!
Did you see some
Damage in the entire group stage for a reason. He's got 1, he's got 2, and it's not. He gets all of them! He doesn't need any help!
really shifting the position of the engagement, the obligation going to a different level, but look at this one way. And Max is putting the pressure on. They're gonna fight.
Great play. End up not being needed. Nobody moved fast enough. Nightmare lights him all up.
Operations. It all comes down to 3 simple rules. Search, fight, extract. Search decides how much loot you walk away with. Fight, not every encounter needs to end in a shootout. You just need to clear whatever's standing between you and your treasure. Extract. That's the magic moment that turns everything in your pack into yours to keep. 3 phases, all connected. Miss one and the whole run falls apart. Gear up before you head out. The better you're geared, the harder you hit and the more you can carry. But the more you lose if you go down. Go in cheap and dying won't sting as much, but you'll miss out on those juicy, high-value supply zones. Gear up and go big, or go light and gamble. Your call. Once you're in the match, forget everything else. Loot, loot, and loot some more. Documents on desks, parts and cabinets, bird nests by the roadside, trash cans tucked in corners early on. Grab everything you can get your hands on. Priority targets, safes, and air cargo containers. Snag one high-value item, and boom! You've already covered your entry cost. Now, the real question, keep pushing your luck or cash out while you're ahead. Your pack's stuffed with goodies and you're ready to extract. Then, gunfire erupts ahead. What now? Charge in, slip past unseen, or hang back and let them wear each other down before you swoop in? Just remember, die and you lose everything in your backpack except what's safely tucked away in your safe box. You choose to slip away quietly. Smart move! Your pockets are already bursting, but you can't shake that nagging sound of footsteps nearby. Even distant gunfire's enough to send your heart racing. You finally reach the extraction point. The countdown starts. Hold your nerve, don't blow it with 2 seconds left. Extracted. That weight you've been carrying the whole run finally lifts off your shoulders. Sweet relief. Then, there's the ultimate wild card. You stumble on a mandel brick. This thing's worth a small fortune, but the second you pick it up, every player on the map knows exactly where you are. Everyone's coming for you. You go from treasure hunter to hunted in the blink of an eye. Your only goal now? Stay alive long enough to decode it and cash in big. Whatever path you choose, it only counts if you make it out alive. That's operations for you. Every extraction is a story worth telling. Go make yours.
Father, I'm sorry. I couldn't find hold of her.
Clover, only because you saved me can we have this adventure. Come on, Clover. It's time to move.
Rowan Walsh, codename Rover. Class, support. Rover was once an independent outdoor explorer, documenting his expeditions across some of the world's most extreme environments on social media. His experience in wilderness survival, terrain reconnaissance, and emergency rescue makes him a valuable asset in the field. As an operator, Rover used his outdoor expertise to provide support for his team. Alongside his military dog Clover, he assists with area searches, target tracking, threat detection, and route guidance.
Thank God. All units, a havoc security team carrying high-value materials is
Rover and Clover share a deep bond built through years of working together. Using his whistle, Rover can call Clover into action. When called to action, Clover pursues nearby enemy targets, dealing damage and applying marks. If no targets are found, Clover maintains vigilant watch from Rover's side.
All right, girl. Where to next? Huh? Where are you taking me?
Welcome back, everyone, to Delta Force Rise Series Season 2 Open Qualifiers. It's about the Americas region, and what a region it's been. So exciting, incredibly fast-paced, night and day difference from EMEA. But man, the competition, it's about to boil over at this point. You know, 30 points were gained by FR. Just unbelievable job. They get the Mandel Brick, they get all the kills, wipe through everybody that was in their way. DK, you know, this team, again, coming in with all the experience from Season 1, they don't find success at all, man. I think they walk away with respectable $1,000, $2,000, but not where they wanted to be. Is this the turnaround point? Because Rapid and Loud, they add in Tute, and Tute has been great.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think this is a turning point. I think this is a fresh reset for them to show us what they can bring on through. And of course, looking at the leaderboard, there they are. Mandel Brick in tow, 8 kills on the board and 7.5 million in assets coming off of our very first Brakkesh right here in the Open Qualifier. So very excited to see how this panned out for them. But of course, you got to give it up to Pulsar as well, right? Coming through with 6 kills, also walking away with 1.4 million in assets there. So a very decent earning for them. But DeFi, unfortunately, the only team not being able to get their hands on any of those kills.
Seeing some things, and well, yeah, DeFi was definitely tough. Like a Monster, by the way, they have the lowest playing hours collectively as a team, so the fact that they're at least in 5th place doing better than DeFi is actually really incredible, I'd have to say. But the big news here is Pulsar just below that, a fresh reset. Pulsar at 1 point was leading the charge by a mile, but then they ended up getting team wiped, and that gave an opportunity for fresh resets in the second map of Brakkesh to ultimately take the lead. Now at 30. When you look at the overall kills, though, there is no denying Pulsar can absolutely slay out. And that's going to be a big factor going into the future Mando Brick rounds, which is going to be every round from this point forward. We hop into Brakkesh coming up next. That's going to be a lot of fun to see. And then we go into Space City from there 3 times in a row. And I'm loving the chat. You guys are wild out there, by the way. And I've seen some questionable things. And yes, I see everything you guys are saying, by the way. But I want to say right now, it seems FR is starting to get a lot of love and a lot of attention. In fact, people are saying like FR better than Space Station Gaming. FR might be better than EG. Now, previous champs better than EG. DK, that's a hot take, but at least their performance today in the Americas region, it's impressed a lot of people out there.
Yeah, I mean, I can't disagree with the people being impressed by what FR has been doing so far. The other statements they made, it's a bit bold, so I'll just leave it right there. I've not seen any comments like that over on YouTube because unfortunately I, for some reason, can't get onto Twitch today. But so yeah, over on YouTube, you know, we're just chilling over there, right? Enjoying the action that we are seeing, and of course, speaking about the action, we are going to be heading into another dose of pressure as we are going to be wanting to find our players on their next few spawns. And of course, it is going to be Brakkesh coming in again. So might be a little bit of same, but might be different all at the same time.
My favorite saying in life, with the Thailand, man. Same, but different. They love that, man. Let's see if it's a lot of the same, no different. FR going to be cruising to match point to get close it out in 4. That would be huge and a statement heading in to the regular season, and a statement that they are looking like the top roster for sure. But let's not get carried away, ladies and gentlemen. You go back to EMEA just a little bit earlier. Mando Brick Addicts, they reached match point at round 4, I should say. They weren't able to get anything after that. They ended up losing. The heavy favorite ended up being, second or third place? It was Rain who ended up taking the lead. We do see a Tempest for the first time come out for the side of Pulsar, which means they're looking to fight for the Mando Brick, something that they narrowly lost in round number 2. Doing so would put them right back with a fighting chance to take over first place. May I remind everyone out there, you can only qualify to the regular season if you get first place. Second, third, doesn't matter. You walk away with the participation award. Good luck in the next qualifier. First place is the only place we're looking at. And for all the teams out there, especially if they're starting to find themselves way down the leaderboard, which will eventually happen, I hope that they're willing to risk everything in order to try and secure first.
Well, sometimes they just have to do that, right? Sometimes that is your only viable option to try and go for. Speaking about options, though, FL and Defy find themselves with an interesting decision to make at this point. Who's going to be the one to steal that first Mando Brick? It does seem like, from FL is getting ready to pull the trigger as soon as it becomes available. And then comes the big decision, right? Where are they going to look to decode? Are they going to go up into Museum or potentially go towards either camp or anywhere else to get this ball underway? Now, there we have it. It is right up in towards Museum here for FL.
That's right, FL. They're looking to take the bull by the horns and move forward. This is good for them, but also let's talk about what we witnessed in the last Brakkesh, right? FL, they got the Mando Brick first, but they were one of the first teams to be eliminated. Sometimes being the first to the party isn't the necessarily right thing to do. Fashionably late is sometimes better in all respects. NL not too far away. A crowd favorite. They're currently in third place, even though there's a big point disparity between NL, Pulsar, and where FR is currently at 31. There is still plenty of opportunities to come back. But for FL, they're looking to soar back. If they can get this, that's 13 total points going their way for decoding the Mando Brick.
Yeah, I mean, that could be the quickest way to get to 40, because that's literally what they need. They actually just need only 9 points. So if they get 13, they're going to be very, very happy with that. Also, though, they are going to be looking to move on forward, already getting spotted down here. As you can see, ML, they are just waiting to line up the hits, but unfortunately not being able to predict the rotation coming through from the Pulsar side. And everybody and their friends, all sending it right up into that Museum position, but a quick trade coming onto Pulsar.
Dude, Grimmy's been having a tough time. I swear to you, he's been getting beamed. He had, points of brilliance on Zero Down, but as of now, brother is going through it. He's going to have to definitely figure it out going forward, but he needs his team. It's a team effort, right? It's not all on Grimmy, at least at the moment. For Pulsar, they're in a bit of trouble. NL could also be in a little bit of trouble themselves. This is all great news for FL, who are still decoding the Mandelbrick, still currently chilling out at the moment, and there are teams around them, including Defy, but all these other teams fighting on the outskirts, cannibalizing each other, just waste precious time that FL is happy to take.
Yep, and that definitely does help buy them quite a bit of time here, and I mean, we have seen it before. It's nothing new that teams kind of disregard that Mandelbrick, but coming into the season, we know Mandelbrick is where it's at. The points are going to really help you get onto match point itself, so let's see whether or not they are going to switch up into high gear. Meanwhile, FR trying to regain a little bit of ground. Looking to find a little bit of something here as they have to move on forward, pushing up from that far southern side. NL, though, also trying to kind of just weigh up their options, right? They were potentially expecting an extraction heading in the direction of Hotel, but from what we saw FL doing, that is not going to be on the cards this time around. Now, pressure will need to come in, and Pulsar are going to be the gatekeepers here for them. So it could develop into quite a bit of a sticky situation.
Well, the good news is, though, Pulsar manages to get all three players back into play, right? There was a point where Grimmy was down. He's now picked back up, and he's got a chance now to play with his team in order to maybe pressure up onto the Mandelbrick, which is just a minute and 20 away from being decoded, but there's so many teams around that I just do not see it being decoded in a clean fashion for the side of FL. There's going to be a fight for it. But there is an opportunity, and LM has found themselves up into the northern part, fighting for the airdrop. And I say fighting, there's nobody around them, so they're going to get it for free. 25 seconds, they're going to walk away with some additional loot. Now, under a minute for the decoding process, and now we really need to focus our attention on the teams that are starting to push up to get the decoding process for themselves. One of those guys could be Defy. As they start to work their way up, they're going to be met with FL, but they've got to move quick, man, and so does FR, who's been in the vicinity for a while, but they're taking their time.
Yeah, I mean, they're just sitting back, eating some popcorn, but you can't afford to do that at this point. DeFi, I like what they're doing here, looking to get a little bit more aggressive, applying the pressure, but FL just locking it down for the time being. FR, they could really steal the show here, but there we have a quick look over onto our first airdrop that has come down, the AWAM. There it is. I mean, they are going to be feeling very happy with that one, ML, so let's see whether or not they're actually going to use it or try and just stow it away somewhere.
I am shocked that FL is going to get away with this Mandelbrick so cleanly, and there it is. It's official. FL get it. They jump all the way up to second place. Everybody around them, but nobody wanted to challenge, and now they choose the opportunity as SNK pounces on the opportunity to get Craig from Defy and get an additional point. And in fact, they'll rack up 2 more, already up to 27. Since they've captured the Mandelbrick just seconds ago, they've managed to gain an additional 3 points.
Wow, I mean, that is absolutely bonkers, but here we go. It's FL now going to be looking to get on that rampage train. But the big ticket here for them is going to be potentially to try and unlock themselves a bit of an extraction, right? In the meantime, NL, you can see all that loot just rolling in here for them as they are having an absolute field day going about the looting business. Not finding any airdrops just yet, as we are still waiting for that second one to come down, and that is just a minute and a bit of change away from happening. Meanwhile, still multiple opportunities for FL, FR, LM, and of course Pulsar to get right down to business to try and get aggressive, because that's the only way that they will be adding points to the overall tally. And I'm especially looking at FR, if they want to win today, they're going to need quite a few more points.
Yeah, but they're doing all right, at least at the moment. It is going to be a battle till the end, but for FR, not as aggressive on the Mandelbrick. I can understand why to a certain degree, given the fact that they had such a big point lead. They know that they can kind of skirt by, at least on this map number 3, by just getting a couple of eliminations, getting a couple of kills, and, you know, padding their stats, if you will. Every single kill they get, or every 2 million that they're able to loot, is going to be an additional point, and they're so close to 40. But for FL, this is a massive, massive gain for them to now be up to 27. The biggest loss, in my opinion, is going to be Pulsar. Pulsar already burned through a Tempest. when you use a Tempest, you want to make an attempt on the Mandelbrick, right? That's going to be your ace in the hole. And for Pulsar to use their Tempest now, not even make an attempt on the Mandelbrick and only have one in reserve for the next, what, 5, or it should be 4 different maps. It's going to be a tough spot for them to be in, but that's what they chose. 19 points, though? I'm honestly not upset with that. More fights breaking out, and for FL, again, to reach 30 points, maybe even surpass FR at 31, this would be a huge map for them.
Yeah, I have to agree with you on that one. It does seem to be very, very feasible for FL to really capitalize on the opportunity for them. And it's unfortunate, right, Pulsar? It means they're going to have to get a little bit more creative once we step over onto Space City to see exactly whether or not they are going to be looking to capitalize on their final remaining Tempest operator. In the meantime, it is a bit of a standoff, right? Nobody wants to be the first one to take the plunge to get in on the action here. But there can only be so many teams that will make it out of this round successfully, right? Somebody could potentially look to be pulling that lever. And with that, it is going to be absolute carnage descending down upon that extractional point. But here we go. LM looking to test the water as they continue to push on forward. Ooh, I like this play. FL now having to figure out what the response will be as they are pretty spread out.
G's going to be holding down this hallway. SNK holding down his area. Good shots from Jings. Actually avoids all the damage while still being annoying to ERK just up ahead. FL's okay with the standstill. Really, it's up to LM. Second airdrop is going to be down. NL should get this for free. Pulsar is going to be moving up. By the time they get there, they're not going to have an opportunity to steal anything away. So for NL, they get away scot-free. And they're going to get quite a decent amount of loot, really, to put them up to hopefully 2 million, or maybe even, well, who knows? If 2 million would at least be a point, that'd be great for them. NL will then backtrack down to throw their hat in the ring at Museum. To maybe third party or even fourth party this fight that's been going down between LM and FL for the longest time.
Yeah, well, whichever way it goes, it is going to be a party nonetheless. Quick little bit of a shot rather coming through there with the allure. Oh, NL now in quite a bit of a heated position as Zamoko quickly finds the hit. Now has to patch himself back up, but it's going to be FR looking to apply the pressures. They are just waiting on the edge. Still having the full team up. They have 3 players to do quite a bit with. Curious to see whether or not they're going to try to use either the Allure or Gizmo to contest with the aggression. But this is going to be NL just sneakily moving up, trying to get themselves in a position to contest the aggression waiting for them at the door.
They're just waiting on an opportunity. Sees a little bit, gets aggressive, gets the finish onto 1, backs away, allows his teammates to switch places with them. In the meantime, gotta watch your flank. Masterfully done. Ghosty falls. I like the idea and the intent from NL, but they lose 2 members, now down to just 1. Pulsar sees this, they hear the shots, and they start to move in. Relatively aggressive to try and get some drops, but NL sees it. RDG! Great heads-up play to drop 1 onto the side of Pulsar. Another one, Grimmy now forced to back away, and he does so, leaving Rogue by himself. Not to get picked back up, at least in the meantime. Yeah, talk about keeping your head on a swivel. Well done, too, not only for NL's sake, but also FL, or it should be NL, or FL, my bad, a little bit earlier.
Yeah, I mean, RDG really turned that almost into an OMG as he just came through flying on the edges there. Not quite sure if he's going to be able to lend any help to the rest of his team. Meanwhile, Toot just going to be chilling here, looking at the flames, enjoying the heat that it all brings on through. But will we see even more conversions coming in here? We still have just over 6 minutes left on the clock before this round also then comes to an end. FL, they know that they are so close to catching up to FR. Just a few more points. They need 5 more to be exactly on par. But I think for FR, things are looking pretty golden at this point, right? Going from 31 to 34 and still multiple operators ahead of them. They could maybe still close 40 points in this round.
Yeah, it's going to be close. Will they get it? It's going to be hard, but it's very possible. I mean, after all, still plenty of teams, or still, enemies left on the battlefield. And FR's going to get that opportunity soon. Tootsie, watch out. Don't go. Oh, he does. He goes to the doorway confidently, manages to get back with the Tempest, but gets to drop onto 1. FR should be able to recover and get their teammate back into the fight with the retreat, but a good push nonetheless. We see RDG once again on your screen. This guy did a great job holding Pulsar back just a little bit earlier on the outskirts, and he's got to do it once again. But this time around, things are a bit different. He's by himself.
Yeah, that does apply quite a bit of pressure for you here, and it doesn't seem like FR are going to be two-faced with their fallen teammate. Instead, they are going to go out for vengeance, but a good position coming through there from the side of FL, holding the high ground, looking to play down on towards them. Meanwhile, this opens up the jar for Balthar to sneak on through. Up comes Daiti with a very sneaky angle. RDG going at it yet again, and quite a bit of that gizmo play being utilized all over the place to keep the distraction there, to kind of bait Pulsar over on towards that left-hand side. But let's see whether or not RDG is going to be able to survive this round as well.
Dude, RDG has been nasty, though. Even if he dies, I'm so impressed with how well he has held his ground. His situational awareness is incredible. And for him to be a solo as long as he has been and forcing full teams back who are 3-man strong, you got to give credit where credit is due. And he's a large reason why NL's been able to get up to at least 19 points so far and stay competitive. With 4 minutes remaining on the clock, we still have this fight taking place in Museum. Another guy is going to drop. That's going to be Jings, who earlier was making some wonderful plays. Down but not out just yet. SMK can get him back. Grimmy from the outskirts applying the pressure. And for Pulsar, they're angry. 2 rounds in a row, they have missed an opportunity for the Mandel Brick. So they said, okay, you might be able to get the Mandel Brick points, but we're just going to slay you out and get points our own way.
Yeah, I mean, you got to do what you got to do, right? You got to get to those points regardless of what it takes at this point. FL, though, going to try and bring themselves back into the swing of things. You can hear that attack dropper outside going absolutely crazy, trying to pick up what it can. Guards now getting traded off, but this is applying quite a bit of pressure onto Pulsar, right? They can't really relocate or reposition themselves too much going around the building, but instead it's going to be like just quickly picking up the hit, forcing that Tempest play yet again. But NL are going to be saying goodbye to RDG. Down he goes. SNK7, though, quickly sneaking up here for FL. Still a great opportunity at hand, but FR, they've suffered quite a few casualties in the process. Pulsar also not looking all too great at this point.
Not too great, but still 21 points. Something to fight for. Getting away, though, is going to be almost impossible, it seems. I mean, so much carnage has happened in the museum. Typically it does, but I'd admit, this has been a lot of bloodshed, more than I'm used to seeing, honestly. But it's been a lot of fun. FL finally backing away. They are now heading up north. Potentially go for the top extract, but don't have a lot of time to get there. But they're at least going to make an attempt for it. And as far as FR and Pulsar go, they might be sticking it out. Might be sticking it out, dropping down south, maybe go for the extraction. But either way, though, for FR and Pulsar, they might be fighting to the death.
Yeah, it does seem like that is going to be on the cards for both of them. We do see a few of those wooden sculptures coming out as well. So, as we saw in the previous season, of course, those can be used to trade in for gold gear. And that is going to be coming in very clutch as we move into Space City in the subsequent rounds here. Meanwhile, FR making a mad dash. See if Rapid can get anything secured at this point. They still have 2 players up. Ooh! Quick trade onto Loud, as he is now absolutely in a box over there. FL still looking pretty golden here, but as we know, moving up to that northern extraction, only one will be able to make it out of this. So let's see if Rapid is going to be able to get any value out of this far push here.
I don't think FL is going to get it in 3. Solid guess, though. At least really solid guess. What a game, though, man. What a region. What a battle it's been for the qualifiers, for sure. All eyes on this. It's the competitors we're going to be playing in the next season. Await their competition. And I am curious, for those who are, in fact, going to be playing the next season, who's in the chat, who would you rather play against? Who would you rather have go forward? You want somebody respectable? Do you want somebody just to sneak on through? Who would you rather play? Give me the details.
Ooh.
And misses that shot. That was free for the taking. Maybe you want to play against FR, seeing the shots from Rapid. Maybe that's your guy. Hey, maybe that's your guy that you want to play against. Rapid, come on, my boy. FR, though, still in a great spot at 33, and this is coming to an end. Yeah, round number 3 about to be in the books as the remaining stragglers start to fall to the wayside as FL get the cleanups. And what a come up for FL to go from almost last place now up to, 29 points in second, getting the Mandel brick. An excellent job indeed, man, and they played so incredibly well. And it's going to make this next round very, very interesting because FL knocking on the door of being a match point. Pulsar not far behind either, but that was the narrative going into round 3 as well. DK, I'm having a lot of fun. The question is, though, who's going to hit match point first?
Yeah, I mean, this is the point where I stopped trying to make predictions because apparently, allegedly, I'm not too good at them. And so, you know, a good gambler knows when to quit, and I myself, not really much of a gambler. So, yeah, at this point, it's pretty much up to whoever can muster the aggression. I mean, FR looking pretty decent at this point, so I wouldn't be surprised if any of them stepped up to try and lock it in here. But, I mean, FL, especially getting that extraction and the decode, puts them in such a sweet position moving up into Space City.
Yeah, for sure. A lot of points, right? 30 plus, say, are dangerously close to reaching 40. I said maybe it ends in game 4, maybe it ends in game 5, but either way, I'll take all 7 just to give me a good snapshot as to what we can expect heading into the regular season. But it's been action-packed, it's been brutally fast, and there hasn't been a single game yet out of the 3 that we have seen where 2 teams were left standing in the very end. It's only been 1. Albeit Zero Dem, you did have a team extract, but regardless, there's only been 1 team standing. It's been a lot of fun, and it's going to continue to get even better as we head into Space City coming up next.
One down, the other running away! You gotta go for the steal! This is not relenting. Tommy Ozo, he's gonna mantle though! A mistake! He's gotta be so frustrated about that mantle. Kudo just chows.
We do see some
Damage in the entire group stage for a reason. He's got 1, he's got 2, and it's not. He gets all of them! He doesn't need any help!
really shifting the position of the engagement, the obligation going to a different level, but look at this way. And Max is putting the pressure on. They're gonna fight for it.
Great play. End up not being needed. Nobody moved fast enough. Nightmare lights him all up.
Father, I'm sorry. I couldn't find older her.
Clover, only because you saved me can we have this adventure. Come on, Clover. It's time to move.
Rowan Walsh, codename Rover, class support. Rover was once an independent outdoor explorer, documenting his expeditions across some of the world's most extreme environments on social media. His experience in wilderness survival, terrain reconnaissance, and emergency rescue makes him a valuable asset in the field. As an operator, Rover used his outdoor expertise to provide support for his team. Alongside his military dog Clover, he assists with area searches, target tracking, threat detection, and route guidance.
Thank God. All units, the Havoc security team carrying high-value materials is key.
Rover and Clover share a deep bond built through years of working together. Using his whistle, Rover can call Clover into action. When called to action, Clover pursues nearby enemy targets, dealing damage and applying marks. If no targets are found, Clover maintains vigilant watch from Rover's side.
All right, girl. Where to next? Huh? Where are you taking me?
For some, success is measured by bodies in bags. Maybe that suits them. But to me, it's measured in hearts that keep beating. You with me?
I'll get you out of here.
Welcome back, everyone, to Delta Force Rise Series Season 2 Open Qualifiers for the Americas region. I'm Taylor Reflections. Well, that's DK. Already heading into round number 4. You blinked, you missed it. These rounds have been brutally fast, and they have been incredible when it comes to the scale of competition. And already, we've got 2 teams above 30 points, and one of them, or at least both of them, are trying to go for gold. They're trying to be the first to reach match point, which would be 40 points in total, setting them up to win in the next round. But a lot of work still needing to be done because it's highly competitive. You know, at first we were looking at NL, then we were looking at FR. Now all of a sudden FL have put themselves in a position to overtake everybody after getting the Mando brick in the last round. But as we head into Space City, DK, that will change things.
Yes, it is going to change up quite a bit. And of course, we are going to be looking at quite a few more operators coming out to play. But first things first, let's take a look back at our last Brakkesh that we had. The fellas are going to be the team to walk away with everything in the bag. 6 kills and not a lot of assets going their way, but you know what? They don't need it because they got those Mandel brick decoding points. So 13 points getting added to the overall tally. A very comfortable run for them. NL, though, also back in some heat. As you can see, 2.1 mil and 4 kills going along with that. So, yeah, hard work being brought in, but is it going to be enough as we step into the next round? Because as you can see, the race is getting closer.
I will say, though, for Pulsar, they might be in 3rd place. But I'll say it just like I did from round number 2 to where we are going into round number 4. The amount of kills that they're able to get consistently is really impressive. To be at 16 is incredible. Now, if they can just lock in their late game, if they can lock in a Mando brick as well as potentially extract, like, they could be a true threat to the crown, a true threat to 1st place. But in the meantime, still a lot of work needing to be done. And for No Limit, a crowd favorite, they have fallen behind. They're at a respectable 18, but who cares about respect? The only thing that matters is 1st place and fresh reset. And fellas, well, they're knocking on the door of being on match points, only 7 and 10 points away respectively. Now, going into this next round, going into Space City, the Mando brick is going to be worth even more. It started at 12, went to 13 now. It's going to be worth 14 total points, which would be huge for Fresh Reset and the fellas, but equally the same for anybody else out there. Hedge your bets. What do we think in chat? Are we thinking Space City, somebody finally reaches match point? I'm thinking at least one team does, but the question is, who is it going to be? Now, if I had to take a wild guess, man, I know you don't do predictions. I'll go ahead and throw my hat in the ring. I actually think Pulsar is going to make a breakthrough, and they're finally going to get a Mandel Brick, and they're going to be the first team to reach match point, even over Fresh Reset and the fellas. Do you want to throw your hat in the ring and try something? Try a guess?
I have to agree with you, right? Because not only that, but according to my calculations, which are, you know, not necessarily scientifically proven, there is a good chance for Pulsar to get a T1 spawn coming into Space City. So I'm curious to see how that is going to pan out for them. And if they do, that is going to be the quickest way to get over onto the Mandel Brick, to pick it up and get it over to a decoding station, and then they just got to just got to defend it. And from what we've seen so far, the aggression that they've been able to mount over the first 3 rounds could really come in clutch here and kind of help push them over the edge to secure that Mandel Brick decode.
Here it is, Space City for the first time when it comes to our open qualifiers for the Americas region. And it's going to be Space City for the next 3 rounds. But will we get around 7? That's the big question I have. With 2 teams knocking on the door of match point, we might not even go all the way. But I said that during EMEA, and well, we did go all the way to a game number 7. Now, regular season, one thing to take note of, everybody, when we do move in the regular season, there will not be a cap on the rounds. The rounds will continue on until somebody successfully wins via the match point format. But when it comes to qualifiers, it ends at round 7. So if nobody wins via match point, it will come down to point total. That's the way you could win today, okay? 7 games, that's what we get. We're going into the operator selection. We do have a Tempest for LM. That's big news for them. Tempest also for NL as well as FL. Now, that's an interesting one, especially for FL. But RDG committing a lot too with the gold armor. That's going to be something to look out for. So every team kind of taking a bit of risk. For NL, they're risking the most.
Yeah, we are looking at a bit of that gold ammo also being utilized by some of our players here. So it's going to be interesting to see who's going to try to lock it in. Speaking of which, though, NL is going to be the first one. And hey, look at that. Pulsar also going to be one of our teams finding themselves with a T1 spawn, as they are right there at Employee Passage 2. So good, easy access, relatively speaking, up into that central area. Meanwhile, NL, they get a free pass through the west gate. Wow, they are so blessed to make it in absolutely unscathed. But FL now going to try and wrap it up as they come rushing in from the north, trying to catch them in that rotation.
Yeah, I was shocked when they did get the free rotate. You see them getting punished now, however, from, I believe, Pulsar in the distance. They'll manage to get back onto their feet, but Pulsar keeping their heads down. But it is going to be a mad sprint towards the Mandel Brick. NL committing as much as they are, not only with the gold armor, but also, of course, with the Tempest. They don't want to let this opportunity go to waste. They're going to be in a mad sprint, and they should be the first ones to get the touch on the Mandel Brick and ultimately take it up and start the decoding process. The only team that can really meet them is going to be LM, but they're still trying to recover from the early down that they suffered from Pulsar a little bit earlier. So for NL, man, this is the perfect time to strike, get their hands on the Mandel Brick and get out.
Yeah, as you say, throw their names in the hat to see what is going to be happening here. But of course, for FRFL, neither of these teams are going to be all too concerned about everything just yet, right? There is going to be an opportunity to come in, get that steal, and, well, potentially walk away with that match point. That is what they are playing for at this point. And I did say that DeFi, they are going to have to try and get a little bit more creative, or at least the teams that picked up their Tempest in the previous round will have to be creative coming into this one. And we've got 3 squads going a slightly different route here, as FR also doesn't have a Tempest in the back, but it is going to be LM though, and NL right down to business. Ooh, look at that trade from Zamoko. Pretty accurate hits, but now it's down to whether or not Rasta can actually try and keep the pressure up here as we get flashbang for a brief moment. Rasta, no! Try to take it easy.
Zamoko's nasty. That's 2 going his way. And he is not shy about taking the fights to LM, and LM is going to be fully eliminated. Done and dusted. They have had a hard time. Every single game, they're one of the first teams to be eliminated. They only sit at 3 total points to 5, equally the same. Good news is they're still alive in this round 4. Still a chance maybe to get some much-needed points, but it's very, very heavily decided by the top 4 teams who are just neck and neck at the current point in time. But for the Mandelbrick, shockingly still on the ground. Nobody's been able to get their hands on it. I was for certain NL was going to take priority to get there first, but maybe it's going to be Pulsar making an attempt. Pulsar will, in fact, be grabbing it for themselves and taking it. We said it, Pulsar. I'm feeling it for these guys. I said I was feeling it for Rain and EMEA. I think Pulsar, they've got a lot of gas left in the tank, brother, and they are looking to go all the way. Let's see if they can do it. Getting this Mandelbrick 14 points. DK, that'll put them at 38 before any eliminations.
But you know what? Looking at where Pulsar is going, right? They are going to that northern decode station. Now, as we've seen in Season 1, the team that goes for decode here is usually the team that is not shy to get aggressive. And out of the lobby that we have here, Pulsar definitely is that aggressive team. So this is maybe a little bit of a, you know, a divine intervention coming through that they are going to be looking to get that decode underway. We'll see, of course, if they can make it there. But FL trying everything they can to try and bring a little bit of pressure on that passage over to the decoding station.
Yeah, but I mean, dude, Taiti is just in such dire straits. Once he fell into the water, he was pretty much cooked from that point. And actually, he had the Mandelbrick. How are you even going to get down there and try and get that in a clean fashion when you're going to be gate kept? This is not going to be easy by any stretch of the imagination. But I say that, and they might be getting it relatively quickly. I love the scouting, though. Smoke's out. And they're going to decide to go for the res, which Tute, man, I mean, is just laying down shots down range, but it's just not going to amount to much. Pulsar could recover here, but, man, it's taken a meteoric effort.
Yep, just shows you how challenging it is playing through right here on Space Station. Meanwhile, Taiti is going to try and maybe survive for the time being, but of course that countdown is ticking away. 2 minutes left on the clock before the Mandelbrick goes right back to the spawn location. So that is going to be putting quite a bit of pressure, especially now on the side here of Pulsar, to see if they can get themselves back onto dry land, and of course continuing with the push up towards the north. Unfortunately, they can't exactly throw it over. So yeah, Grimy now really needs to step up to the plate to see if he can fend off some potential aggression that might be focused on his team.
There's the Mandelbrick. Shout out to production to let us know. Kind of looks a bit like, majestic out there by the water, you know? Just a nice little vacay. It's like, dude, all I'm used to seeing is violence. It's actually a nice change of pace. Nobody's around me. No bullets flying past my head. I finally get a chance to just be what I've always wanted to be, and that's just a Mandelbrick.
Out in the wild.
Out in the wild. Wild. Good shots from Defy, who have needed desperately anything to happen. Only at 3 points. They're going against Zamoko, who's been on fire, and in this case, gets a bit overzealous. Manages to retreat back. He'll be safe for the meantime. Of course, although he is downed. And for NL, the other 2 members have to try and get him back onto his feet. For Pulsar, still trying to figure out how in the world do we get the Mandelbrick? Well, they managed to do so. But they don't have a lot of time. Actually, they don't, excuse me. It's still going to be down. They don't have any time. It's going to reset.
Yeah, I mean, 30 seconds on the clock. The Mandelbrick now has gone for a bit of a swim. That is new. I didn't know it had that feature, right? It kind of just hovers there in the air. And, I mean, NL, they are really close to that spawn location for the Mandelbrick, so we could see a different team now having a bit of a go at this decoding. And, I mean, this opens up beautifully for FR and FL. As we know, both teams are trying to get themselves into match points, and this could be exactly what needs to happen.
Yeah, you know, for FR, in this case, man, I mean, they've been doing a great job. Slow and steady wins the race. They're getting inching closer and closer to getting up to the 40-point mark. They can get that by just simply getting some eliminations. For NL, though, picking up that brick, they take advantage of this. And again, going back to Pulsar, it's so unfortunate their player with the Mandelbrick ended up falling down, breaking his legs, and then getting beamed they could not recover from that point. And Pulsar had to make a decision, and I think they finally said, look, enough is enough. It's just too hard to get this mental break out of here. We're too exposed. We got to jump back in the water and get away. Let's just go ahead and play for the reset. They do that, but it opens up a door for NL to now start the decoding process for themselves. Now, this is big news for them. Getting this mental brick puts them up to 39 points, and that is not counting any future eliminations that they're inevitably going to get. So for FR as well as NL, depending on how this plays out, we could have two teams going into round 5 on match point.
Yeah, that could definitely be the play here. And it's interesting to note also that that decoding station up towards the north is also not there currently. Not quite sure what happened with that one, but hey, you know what? We have the decoding underway. NL, they are going to be situated just on the edge of ramp. So let's see if the saying rather holds true. The team that controls ramp controls the decoding station. It is going to be put to the absolute test with FR and FL just holding on that southwestern position, kind of trying to bide some time here. But it's all going to come down onto the next 3 minutes as the clock is ticking, and we can't see another free brick sliding its way in here.
R comes up, scouting the surrounding areas. Seeing too much at the moment.
Let's go there.
You mentioned that ramp, though. NL's got it on lock.
Wing in the air.
They don't look like they're going to be moving anytime soon. For FL, now they start to get a little bit of an understanding of what's ahead of them, and that's going to be RDG. That's the big one you want to see, right? Controlling the ramp. If you can tell where RDG is at, you take him out, who's the tip of the spear for this FL roster, at least in this moment, defending the Mandelbrick. Then you can continually push up. One of the things teams run into is they get a bit too comfortable with the amount of time remaining. In this case, right, 220? Yeah, fine. We can take our time. Not too much time. We can take our time, but before you know it, you start to run out of time, and now you're in trouble, and then you give a free Mandelbrick over towards NL. And that is a team you do not want to be on match point, so stealing this Mandelbrick is going to be imperative.
Yeah, it was funny seeing Pringle getting attacked by the shark over there. It's not too often that we actually have that happen, but luckily Pringle survived. So, yeah, maybe just a little bit of a wrinkle going over to Pringle there. In the meantime, DeFi, they are going to be creeping up from the eastern side, trying to see if they can maybe work their way up into that alleyway. But FL still trying to figure out, is it going to be worth the aggression to try and sneak on through? Because looking at what NL did, they really are pretty good with defending the ramp so far, right? Up comes Pulsar, also going to try their hand at it, and as I said before, there's going to be quite a bit of contention coming through onto this Mandelbrick because so many teams have the potential opportunity to unlock match point in this round.
Yeah, but I think Pulsar is going to be one of our front-leading teams to push up for this Mandelbrick. Maybe even FL too, but you got to think, from Pulsar's perspective, they're pissed off. Like, they lost to Mandelbrick a little bit earlier. They had it free and clear, a free route up towards the north. With the way they've been slaying out, that would have been huge for them. But falling down, an obvious mistake. Pulsar wants this back. They do not want to lose this round. It would be so deflating. But as the fights are underway, Zumuko, who's been absolutely insane throughout the entirety of our 4 rounds that we've had a chance to witness, is looking to make some big moves. For NL, they're pushed back. Ghosty's going to end up falling. This is a big opportunity for somebody to get up and get the Mandelbrick. Only 30 seconds remaining.
Oh, the pressure is on, and this could be a great opportunity for DeFi now to come in with the steal, as they have now pretty much knocked back the side of NL. But Zumoko quickly relocating to the opposite end, but unfortunately not getting onto the decoding station. Quick play coming through from Craig. As the hit is in, the steal is secured, and now DeFi needs to try and battle their way through this one.
An incredible read from Craig to pre-fire Zumoko in that moment. Understanding there was just enough time, Zumoko had no choice but to just push through the smoke and pre-fire the brick, not knowing where Craig was going to be up. But Craig reads it even better and gets it. I mean, beautifully done. Defy, they end up getting finished off. But a star-studded play from Craig, and you got to give credit where credit is due, even though Defy end up falling. That was a highlight play for sure in our round 4.
Yeah, nice getting that adrenaline up quite a bit here. And of course, 2 teams down currently. It's going to open up quite a bit of opportunities for our remaining 4 teams to get their hands on that decoding station. But of course, they need to keep an eye on the clock because we have just under 6 minutes remaining. And of course, the Mandelbrick is going to take a hard minute to decode at this stage.
Yeah, it is. It is. Ooh, I love the push, man. Samoko has been sensational. Up to 5 eliminations. This guy is playing Tempest and putting on a masterclass of what it is to be a Tempest player. Definitely the star-studded player so far. At the beginning I was saying RDG, but Samoko is taking the torch for sure. And being such a nuisance to any teams out there. And for NL, just because of Samoko himself, managed to put them up to 30. Randall Brick, Ian gathered, FR starts the decoding process, but you bring up a valid point. There's only 5 minutes on the clock. 3 minutes to decode the Mandel Brick, and that's if it doesn't get touched. We're coming down to the wire.
Yeah, it is going to be a pretty sweaty play coming through from here. But for FR, realistically, all they need is 3 more points to activate match point. So regardless whether or not they get the Mandel Brick in this one, it could be a very exciting one indeed. But that is going to be applying quite a bit of pressure for them to perform going into the next round. So let's see whether or not they are going to be able to pull this one off. So far, it is looking pretty decent. And I think ideally a good play here would be for teams trying to move forward like NL, fighting themselves in a bit of a sweaty play. But it does seem to be quite comfortable now for NL as they make it look so effortless to steal it back.
Steal it back. For NL, best case scenario, they get the Mandel Brick decoded. That puts them above 40 for FR. They just need 3 kills. There's plenty of people to choose from, but arguably, I have to say, if FR can get 3 kills, they're going to get the Mandel Brick too. And they'll have a tremendous lead going in to round 5. For Grimmy, Grim sights by himself. And for Pulsar, they have had such a tough time in all 4 rounds. And if they don't qualify, they have to go back and reflect on the player falling down, breaking his legs, the Mandel Brick being out in the open, getting reset, giving the opportunity to NL, who is currently going for the decode. How different this round could have been if that member on Pulsar doesn't fall down, exposing the Mandel Brick.
Yeah, we could have been looking at a completely different situation right now. But unfortunately, that's not the case here. It is going to be FL, though, getting absolutely bombarded by the Raptor play here. FL trying to defend with everything they got. Ooh, cheeky trade coming in there, and slowly FL are having some knocks being thrown in their direction. But can they survive this? Because if they can take it out, they cannot contest that Mandel Brick decode whatsoever. Meanwhile, FL trying to lock it in. FR nowhere to be seen just yet, just waiting patiently on ramp. But look at that, Grimy getting absolutely taken down, and that's the end of the run for the side of Pulsar.
Yeah, for Ghosty, he's going to be the last up for NL's hopes and dreams. They were comfortably in charge of the Mandel Brick, and now forced to fight back, forced to try and regain it. But time is running short. There's only 2:30 on the clock. And as we look at a replay, this is Ghosty. Big fight, takes down Grimmy. Putting down Pulsar ultimately into the grave. Again, that big mistake a little bit earlier. This could very well be one of our final fights, as like from the side of FL, trying to defend as much as he possibly can, finds an opportunity, gets a touch. FR's not there to try and counter it. And now FL is going to be in the driver's seat with 1.5 minutes on the clock. 30 seconds in the round 4 time total. Like I said, it's coming down to the wire for FR. Only one more player remains. And that's going to be Tute, who ends up falling to the wayside. And FL will officially be the team getting the Mandel Brick just based off of time. They're the last one standing. And they will officially be the first team to be on match point.
I mean, absolutely crazy stuff coming through. And just in the nick of time, I mean, the opportunity for steal cutting it so close. And with that, it is going to be a very smooth sailing approach here for them. This sets them up for match point, but now comes the sweaty part. Can they replicate those efforts coming into the next round? Of course, FL doing their due diligence here. Not quite sure if there are any other operators still surviving on this map. But from what we can see, obviously, they are all alone, right? This is theirs. It's in the bag, and they just got to wait a few more seconds for it all to be official. And our first match point about to be activated.
That's right, man. And think about it, coming into this, you had hopes and dreams for so many rosters, right? I mean, FR, for example, NL, potentially reaching that match point, but through all the chaos, FL walks away with the biggest advantage, and they're going to have a tremendous
Battle break
lead,
has been decoded.
54 to 34, a 20-point lead over FR. First team to reach match point. And FL came into today with a lot of hopes and dreams of, well, obviously being the best. And they might leave as the best, and they have been great, like Bullets, SNK, Jinx, all of them have played so very well.
Yeah, of course, they are going to try and get an extraction as well. As you can see, Like now pushing to the no-back on that far southern edge. But will he make it on time? Oh, very, very close call. Just 2 seconds left on the clock, and that is it. They get one out, but I did also see that there was a nice juicy red on the ground there, and nobody saw it, so a little bit of missed value there, but you know what? It's just the loot goblin in me spotting things like that.
Well, FL, man, walking away with the Mandel break. That's the second one in a row on 2 different maps. Brakkesh as well as Space City. And they're now officially the first team to be on match point. A big moment for them, but the alert's brought back, right? So now going into it, if they do pick up the Mandel break, everybody's going to get the alert that, hey, we're at risk of losing. It puts a big target on FL's back. You go back to EMEA qualifiers. Mandelbrick Addicts were the first one to reach it, but that target was a bit too big and ultimately ended up doing them in the end. Can FL fight back in a much better way? Well, we're going to have to find out. Either way, they're looking comfortable. They're looking good. And Space City Round 5 will be coming up after the break.
One down, the other running away. He's gonna go for the steal. This is not relenting with Tommy Ozo. He's gonna mantle though. A mistake. He's got to be so frustrated about that mantle. Kudo just chows.
Did you see some
Damage in the entire group stage for a reason. He's got 1, he's got 2, and it's not. He gets all of them. He doesn't need any help.
Operators, if you're looking for more intense fights and rare rewards, welcome to Space City. Most of the high-value loot is packed into the core area, so every squad wants to get there first and claim their share. With so many spawn points, most squads risk getting picked off on the way in by teams already holding the routes to the core. Compared with the other spawn points, Dormitory is the dream spawn. If you get Dormitory, you're already holding a much better hand. A Dormitory team can clear the outer threats more easily and reach the core more safely than from any other spawn. So, how do the pros gather information and make their way into the core from Dormitory? Welcome to this episode of Play Like Pros. We're looking at how MW from the Americas region played their Week 1 group stage match in the Rise series. After spawning at Dormitory, MW split up. One player took the balcony, one watched from the top of the second floor stairs, and one held the bottom to track the other teams. From the balcony, Rapid SSJ spotted the Westgate squad heading for the swipe point and fired a Volt arrow to disrupt them. But TN, who spawned at Westgate, made the smart call and smoked the spot above the blue car. Crisp handled the car, then fell back beside the blue car to avoid Rapid SSJ's Volt arrow and the spray coming through the smoke. Before the smoke cleared, TN was already out through the Westgate. MW didn't get a knock, but they got the information they needed. The Central Command and Westgate squads, the two teams that could threaten Dormitory, were already moving into the core area. That meant Dormitory was temporarily safe. So MW took Employee Passage 1, got through the card reader, and entered the core area at their own pace. Of course, a dual route approach is another option. Let's take a look at how SSG from America's region handled it. Right from the start, Kills All took up position above the stairs and landed heavy damage on NTMR as they came out from Central Command. Meanwhile, Skies and Too Easy headed to the balcony together to track the Westgate squad's movements. After confirming that both the Westgate and Central Command squads had cleared out, SSG made a bold call. Assault Kills All would push through Employee Passage 1 alone. Intel Too Easy and Support Skies would trail the Westgate squad instead. By approaching from two different angles, SSG created a crossfire setup. They systematically cleared the area and only advanced into buoyancy once they knew the route was completely safe. With that intel, SSG figured out that MW was heading for the decode point in the middle of Central Command's sand area via Employee Passage 2. Skies and Kills All moved quickly to hold the Central Command bridge. Meanwhile, Too Easy held the guard, acting as a wall to pin down squads in the core area and keep them from supporting their teammates. With both guns working in sync, SSG ripped the Mandel brick straight out of MW's hands and locked in the win. Looking at these pro teams, we can see that dormitory spawns tend to favor the same 3 hold points. The balcony gives you a clear view of the entire Westgate and lets you track every squad moving through it. From the top of the second floor stairs, you can watch the teams crossing Central Command Bridge and entering Employee Passage 2. From the bottom of the first floor stairs, you can watch the Westgate and catch any squad trying to push up the left side stairs. That's it for this episode of Play Like Pros. We hope you operators have a great haul in Space City.
For some, success is measured by bodies in bags. Maybe that suits them. But to me, it's measured in hearts that keep beating. You with me?
Welcome back to Delta Force Rise Series Season 2 Open Qualifiers for the Americas region. I'm Taylor Reflections Noble, joined by DK. Up and in around 5, another Space City FL are on fire. They've managed to get 2 Mandel bricks in a row. They are now leading not only in points, but also officially our first team to reach match point. They are the only team out of the 6 who are currently qualified to end this thing in its entirety. But they would have to do it by getting 3 Mandel bricks in a row. Now, DK, that is a rarity we do not see often.
Yeah, it is going to be a pretty tall order, and I think it's going to be super exciting to see our first potential triple Mandel brick play coming in here. But as you said, if EMEA is any indication, it could maybe be a little bit of a challenge. So, yeah, excited to see where it is going to be going. But, of course, looking at the potential location, they didn't get T1 in the previous run. So it is going to be a good setup for them coming into this one. So the fellas, they're going to be happy with that Mandel brick and the 6 kills that it brings with it as well. NL, though, picking up the 9 kills and not a lot of bank in this past round. But as we saw, it was a very sweaty, contentious play to get your hand on that Mandel brick.
Yeah, for sure. It was sweaty indeed, man. It came down to the very, very last second. No Limit played so very well. But then they ran into a guy from Defy named Craig, and Craig was just disgusting with that read on the Mandel brick. Even though Defy, they get wiped out in the end, they're still going to be like close to last place. Or actually, they will be in last place. Either way, though, Craig, shout out to you. That was disgusting, to say the least. The fellas, like you see it, match points has been reached around 53 total squad points, and that's still going to be a big factor, especially if we get to map 7, around 7, and nobody is able to close it out. But the thing is, though, for fellas, closing out here is very, very imperative. Fresh reset, no limit, knocking on the door of being on match point themselves, and the Mandel brick now goes from 14 points all the way up to 15 points now which will put Pulsar, No Limit, Fresh Reset, all the way past the match point. So for fellas, 3 in a row for the first time when it comes to our Delta Force competition, esports in general. Are they able to lock in 3 Mandel bricks? Well, they are the only ones who can answer that. They go back into Space City, and arguably, they look like the favorite to be able to do so.
Well, it's going to be a very exciting one to see if that is going to be the case here. Can we have a triple fella play? Well, we're going to have to find out to see if that is going to be the case. I mean, it would be super exciting, right? Because even in the previous season, usually if EMEA takes 7 rounds over here on Americas, it is usually 4 or 5. So, yeah, super stoked to see how this one is going to play out. And of course, as we know, with regards to the spawns, NL, Pulsar, they are not going to have the opportunity for the T1 coming into our second Space City. So it is going to be up for grabs for any of the other teams to find those spawn locations. But curious to see who's going to be the one to get it, right? And this is going to be a big old race for especially FL, if they get T1, to rush right up to the Mantle Brick and get this party underway.
Yeah, for sure. For fellas, they're in a great position. FL, they get T1 spawns. Man, if they do anyways, I should say, they're going to be in such a great position. I go back to Pulsar, such a disappointing loss that they end up taking. I feel they've had moments of brilliance. I really thought that last round was going to be theirs. If they don't fall, though, on the transition up to the north to try and decode the Mandel Brick, if they don't fall, does Pulsar get the Mandel Brick? I feel fully confident that they would have. And it just seems like they take 1 step forward, 2 steps back. And that's opened up the door for teams such as No Limit NL, or, of course, on the side of FL or Fellas, to just lead the charge and truly have an opportunity to strike while the iron is hot. Only 1 team moves forward to the regular season. 1 team out of the 6 talented rosters that have battled so hard throughout our open qualifiers to reach even this point is a massive accomplishment. But there's levels to this, and to be the number 1 out of all of them is not going to be easy. But for fellas, potentially getting the T1 spawn, that is going to be big. For FR2, let's not forget them, DK. Fresh Reset, right? Also, potentially getting the T1 spawns. Both of those rosters looking like the favorites to move on.
Yeah, let's see whether or not that is going to be the play here, as we are going to be hopping straight into everything. Let's see what the loadout options are as well. Who's going to be playing with some Tempest, and who's going to look to get creative? We do see at least a Nox over there from what I saw on the plane. Not quite sure who is coming in with that, but we are going to see in just a hot few moments exactly what the operator decisions are. And who could stand rather a really good chance at getting their hands on that first steal, getting it into the decoding station, and, well, trying to fend everybody else off. Here we go. It is going to be go time. And it does seem like pretty much everybody has gone the route of looking to play for that Tempest play, except for NL.
Yeah, NL doesn't, but one eye, or where I'm looking, is the gold armor for FL. SNK running Tempest. I mean, come on, we just witnessed how deadly and crazy SNK is on the Tempest play. The conditions are absolutely perfect for FL to take this 3 Mandel Bricks in a row on match point. They've got everything they need. But you're right, for NL, choosing to kind of hang back. I think they've already burned through both of their Tempest, if I'm not mistaken, so they're not going to have the opportunity to use that unless it goes into a map 7. But for either way, though, for NL, FR, Pulsar, everybody who is other than FL, they've got to dig deep here.
Yeah, let's see whether or not FR, NL, or Pulsar are going to make a play for it here. I mean, look at LM and DeFi, right? Their opportunity here could still be to try and play for the Mandel Break, right? If they get it, yes, it's going to get them closer to it, but it's not going to mean all too much for them. They can, of course, try and do that purely for the sense of the upset, right? So, curious to see what the intentions will be here, but it is going to be a full race up onto the positions here. And again, right, it is going to be a hot rush. Only a few moments remain until Mandel Break becomes active. But who will be the first team to claim it?
Well, FL's going to be close to it. So many teams are here. Wouldn't mind if FL takes a back seat. Kind of does what they did last round. Take their time, third party. Wait for a couple of players to be eliminated, and then they move up. But for FL, already running into trouble. Pulsar getting active, getting busy. Grimmy leading the charge in that stairwell that the infamous replay was shown in just the last round. But Grimmy says enough is enough. You want to replay me getting beamed? I'm going to show you what I can do in a round number 5. And I believe in the guy. I really do. Pulsar, I'm once again going to throw my hat in the ring. I want them to find success. I want them to get a Mandel Brick and reach match point. Because with the way they've been slayed out, DK, I hope today is not the end of their story.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. I mean, that would make for such a great storyline here. Especially looking at how Pulsar has been performing over the previous few rounds. But again, it's all going to come down to what the other teams decide to do. Now it's going to be FR trying to push up from that far southern position. They did get that first hit over on towards Craig, so we're not going to see Craig raining some chaos down on the rest of the teams. Instead, it is going to be Pulsar getting their hands on the Mandel Brick. Ooh, story mode engaged.
But we've seen this last round, and on the transition, they broke their legs, got put into a difficult spot, and never recovered. Will this time be different? Well, they're closer to a decoding station. That is a huge positive, and I think they're going to go ahead and throw it in and start the decoding relatively soon. So Pulsar, much better start compared to where they were last time. Now 4 minutes on the clock, and this would be massive. I mean, Pulsar's at 26 points. The Mandel Brick is worth 15. Just getting the Mandel Brick over the next 4 minutes puts them above 40 and therefore puts them in a position to right the wrongs of the previous 4 rounds, be on match point, and a chance for first place will be in front of them.
Yeah, but it's going to be open season for everybody else that is also pretty close to getting that match point to try and have their go at the Mandel Brick itself. But, I mean, it's good to see Pulsar choosing to go into the alley as opposed to venturing all the way up towards the north yet again. I think it's safe to say that they've learned from that previous round. This time looking to play for a slightly more contested but safer option all at the same time. But now, a lot of creeping around is going to come through as the teams try to get themselves in position. And Pulsar taking an interesting angle here with regards to the defense of their decoding.
Definitely is. And I'm curious what the game plan is here. Luckily for them, nobody's going to be around them. Just, I mean, you've got people right in the vicinity, but nobody's really there to make a big attempt. The auto tanks start to move up. Ooh, big item picked up for S&K worth 1.2 mil. And FL's going to be happy with that. They're already leading the charge when it comes to overall points, and every single time you get 2 mil, you gain an additional point, so they're happy with that. But for Pulsar, 2 minutes and 20 seconds away from reaching match point themselves. This is big, man. But I'm not going to count my chickens before they hatch yet, DK. I mean, I've seen them get close before and ultimately just fall apart. I'm hoping that's not going to be the case here. But NL is going to apply the pressure.
Well, pressure, sometimes a really good thing, as you know, right? Pressure is what creates diamonds, or that's part of the process.
Shark attack on the bottom right, by the way.
Yeah. I mean, it's the second time. I like how Mrs. Holt panning out the shark looking to be the main character in this session here. DeFi definitely have to find a way to get away from the sharks. You know, nothing wrong with a little bit of a swim here, but look at the sprays coming through from Grimy again, locking in onto the side of NL. Now it's going to be up to Ghosty and his teammate to see if they can do anything in response, but you got to watch out for RDG as well, right? RDG showed us back on Brakkesh that, you know, bro means business.
It's the duality of a competitor. You've got Pulsar about to apex and reach match point. On the opposite side, though, Defy, who's in last place, trying to win against the Shark. Just has not been easy for Defy whatsoever. A minute away, and now for Pulsar, this one your heart rate starts to go up, starts to spike, right? You're getting so close, you're just 50 seconds away. You know the pressure is there, but you also understand you're in a great spot defensively. If you could just hold on a little bit longer, you reach match point. A big moment for Pulsar. They've been working so hard and grinding to go from 5th place, or 4th place, excuse me, to 1st, or should be even just 2nd, would be massive. But they've got to hold on just a little bit longer. 30 seconds. Does NL choose to attack? DK, I think everybody's running out of time. Pulsar's going to get this free and clear without any drama.
Yeah, does seem to be the case. One of our very first pre-mantle break decodes potentially on the horizon here. Oh, ruins.
Oh,
a hit.
Hold on.
Right there. DeFi.
FL, I think, is making an attempt. FL is moving up. SNK might be close. NL, are they going to be able to get a touch? They tried. They're attempting. SNK moves up. Does he get there in the nick of time? Grimmy manages to take him down, and it is going to be Pulsar successfully taking the Mandel Brick. Despite SNK's Tempest attempt, he gets taken down, uses the recall, but as he's recalling away, he's hoping he was still there in the fight, but Grimmy, a heads-up play, takes down not only Zumaka, but also, more importantly, takes down SNK. A job well done, and Pulsar now has officially apexed the match point threshold. Going into the next round, they'll have a chance to take it all.
I mean, I did say story mode engaged, right? Everybody heard that? Here we go. Let's see whether or not they can make it happen now. It is going to be a big, big play indeed here. But DeFi going from fighting with sharks to getting electrocuted along the way. Quite a few complications coming in their direction. But they are at least currently up to 6 points, so it's a great increase for them. The big question is, can they make anything come off of this map for them? And as we know, only one team can walk away with a smile on their face here today. Only one team. The rest are going to get a nice pat on the back, say, you know, well done, you tried. But unfortunately, it is the way it is. Quick play coming through here from Loud, trying to bring Toot back into the fight as well. And this is now the opportunity for some perfect chaos to come on in.
Still going back to Pulsar was able to do. Shout out to Grimmy. No, I poked a little bit of fun, right? Some mistakes here and there. I know chat's kind of went in on him, but whatever, man. That was the play that could very well qualify them. Or at least set them up to qualify. This is their best chance that they've ever had. They've had a lot of struggles. But to have the composure to come back after what is arguably a disastrous Space City round 4, to then turn their luck around and then jump all the way up from 4th place to 2nd, knocking on the door, potentially winning, is just speaks volumes about their composure, and that's going to be so valuable if they do make it into season or the regular season. Good job. Their job's not done yet, though. They still have a couple more fights to take, and they are going to take them as they push up. They're taking the fight immediately onto NL. RDG will fall. Ghosty, though, refusing to budge. Fires some shots back. He wants to get RDG back into the fight, but he's got a long battle ahead of him.
Yeah, but it just shows you the beauty of the format here, right? Any team can go pretty much from not being in contention to stepping into a spot where they apply so much pressure on everybody else. Let's see whether or not DeFi could maybe find something here for themselves. Oh, quick shutdown coming through from Rapid as DeFi will get swept on out of here. Now, our final 4 teams left to duke it out to see who's going to be walking away with which amount of points. But FR, they've hit 40 points, so that means they are also now up onto match point.
That's right. NL's not going to reach it, but the reality is going into round 6, DK, you called it. 3 teams are going to be on match point. FR, Pulsar, and FL. And EMEA, we didn't have 3 teams on match point until we reached round number 7. Or round 6. Could decide it all. Now imagine this. Theoretical, we go to round 6. 3 teams are going to be on match point, but NL somehow, some way gets the Mandel Brick. We go into round 7 with 4 teams on match point. That's what this format is all about. That's what makes it exciting. It might start off slow, but the ending makes it all worth it.
Yeah, I can tell you what, it is going to be sweaty as all heck. See which team is going to be the one to walk away with that very hard fought after slot to make it into the league stage. I mean, I can tell you, whoever gets there is very deserving of that slot. It has been a very exciting day so far. All 5 rounds that we've been witness to has just been jam-packed with excitement. And of course, it's not going to stop anytime soon. Let's see who will make the decisive plays right here. We've still got under 7 minutes left on the clock, and so much can unravel here as the teams will be finding each other all over this map. And of course, FR trying to do what they can, trying to see if they can properly get themselves over the 40-point line, because as we know, the moment they lose one of their players, there could be some value going away with that as well. So they have to find quite a few more eliminations just to push it that extra little bit further and make it official.
Yeah, make it official, make it guaranteed. You're right. And maybe I jumped the gun a little bit, but FR, they're at 40 now, but they're not guaranteed to finish above 40 depending on how this ends up unfolding. But guaranteed, FL Pulsar will be. Pulsar's done such a good job. I mean, this is a flawless round from them. They played it so very well. And even after the broadcast, I'm probably going to go back and rewatch the Mandelbrick fight towards the very end of those final seconds. First, you had Craig, right? Craig from Defy, previous round, pulling off a great clutch play to secure the Mandelbrick just a little bit longer. And then after that, got an even better play coming out from the side of Pulsar. Grimmy. 10 toes down, baby, holding it up. Well done. Just so well done. And for NL, man, looking so good in the earlier round. Still looking decently well, but as they get shut down, they're going to have to settle for 26 points. Still miles away from reaching match point. They're going to have to step it up in the in the next round, round number 6. Or else they're going to be knocking on the door of elimination, not qualifying for the regular season. And for a lot of fans out there who have been supporting NL since the very beginning, they're going to be quite disappointed.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but you know, sometimes that is just the way the cookie crumbles. Speaking about cookie crumbling, FL again getting jinx on that solo extraction. So they did that over on Brakkesh. Round number 3, they do it once again here on round number 5. So I like that consistency coming through from them as well, making sure that they can bank on all the value they've been able to find so far. Currently sitting with 53 points on the board. It's going to be a big race, and it's going to be an especially important race coming through for FR. As I said, they need a few additional points to secure it. Currently, as things stand, they are technically on match point, but it has not yet been officiated. We need to see those final few attempts being brought on forward here. And I mean, heck, if they find Pulsar along the way, that could be their ticket to making sure that they go into round number 6 also with a glorious match point in the bag.
Actually, everything you said is right, but I think FR, they don't know it yet, but I think they're going to be in a bit of trouble when they go to extract. Because they're going to run into Pulsar. And I wonder if they do get eliminated, if they will drop down a point or two, which will keep them away from match point. That's going to be a massive loss for FR. FL, SNK is still off into the distance. One of the teammates managed to extract, get out with some valuable loot. But as FR starts to come to the extraction point, which opens up in about 2 minutes, Pulsar is set up defensively. Grimmy is going to be holding SNK back. I think he's got a good understanding of where SNK is going to be at. Tidy, Rogue are going to be looking at the extraction point, which Loud and Rapid are going to be moving up to. And they're also split, so they can't even play for the trade here. And Loud runs the risk of being spotted first, not only from SNK, but also from Grimmy, off of the distance, as you can see. I think FR's in a lot of trouble at the moment.
I have to agree with you on that. I mean, especially at this stage on Space City, you don't want to be too split up. But they are trying to make the most out of a very difficult situation, and already getting spotted out of here by Grimmy is going to make things even more challenging for them, because Pulsar knows now that somebody is encroaching on their position, so it really alerts them quite a bit. But quick cheeky play coming up from Rapid, and this could be exactly the ticket they need, right, to quickly condense that position and rush forward onto Pulsar. Also, more importantly, they need the points.
Need the points indeed. The extraction, though, still 50 seconds away, and SNK from FL is now starting to move up. There is zero risk for FL. For SNK, he can get as loose as he wants. He can push up as aggressively as he wants. If he loses his life, no worries. They still got the point lead. They're also on match point heading in round 6. SNK can have a little bit of fun, but he can cause a lot of destruction, not necessarily on Pulsar, but again, onto FR. FR desperately need to get out. They need to extract safely, but as Pulsar starts to collapse in, SNK is going to be taken down, and Pulsar now have free reign to focus all their attention onto Loud as well as Rapid. They've switched places. Pulsar has moved down, and I think Loud and Rapid are about to be SOL. Pulsar should be extracting relatively soon. They get all of their teammates out. Loud and Rapid are going to make a mad dash to try and get in. Rapid firing on to Grimmy just up ahead. The smoke is going to distract. Rapid is going to end up falling. That loses a point, now below the point threshold, sitting at 39. Loud has no choice but to watch Pulsar all extract. Now he'll maybe be able to get Rapid back up into the fight, but the question is there an opportunity to extract? I don't think so.
Not that I can see, no. I mean, there's not much time left. The no bag has been taken. So that is all their options. Pretty much donezo for the time being. And yeah, it's a bit of a rip. Oh, and down they go. How did they get taken out? Who? Oh, that was the boss. This Mullins taking them down. I mean, to rub salt in the wounds. You don't get to extract. You are 1 point shy from hitting match point, and then you get taken down by the boss. Absolute brutality.
It is, but again, you can tell even minutes earlier, Pulsar was going to apply that pressure, and they started to tighten the vice grip. Once they took down SNK on FL, they had free reign to just focus on the last remaining players, and they did exactly that. It was almost an impossible situation. Once Pulsar read the room for what it was, once they got the Mando break and they backed up to protect the extraction point, they knew they had a great opportunity to shut down Fresh Reset, which is exactly what they did. They go from match point to now 2 points below the threshold at 38. A tough break for FR. But the good news is they've got 2 more maps to work with if they can extend it. But the reality is now 2 teams are on match point. They can end it in round 6. But if it doesn't, it opens up the doors for 2 more teams to reach match point. We could have 4 going in to round number 7. All that and more, though, when we come back, we're going to be heading into Space City. Still a lot more work to be done.
Now the other running away! You're gonna go for the steal! Is not relenting with Tommy Ozo. He's gonna mantle though. A mistake. He's gonna be so frustrated about that mantle. Kudo just chows.
We do see some
Damage in the entire group stage for a reason. He's got 1, he's got 2, and it's not. He gets all of them. He doesn't need any help.
shifting the position of the engagement. The engagement going to a different level, but look at this one. And Max putting the pressure on.
Great play. End up not being needed. Nobody moved fast enough. Nightmare lights him all up.
Operations. It all comes down to 3 simple rules. Search, fight, extract. Search decides how much loot you walk away with. Fight, not every encounter needs to end in a shootout. You just need to clear whatever's standing between you and your treasure. Extract. That's the magic moment that turns everything in your pack into yours to keep. 3 phases, all connected. Miss one and the whole run falls apart. Gear up before you head out. The better you're geared, the harder you hit and the more you can carry. But the more you lose if you go down. Go in cheap and dying won't sting as much, but you'll miss out on those juicy, high-value supply zones. Gear up and go big, or go light and gamble. Your call. Once you're in the match, forget everything else. Loot, and loot some more. Documents on desks, parts and cabinets, bird nests by the roadside, trash cans tucked in corners early on. Grab everything you can get your hands on. Priority targets, safes, and air cargo containers. Snag one high-value item, and boom! You've already covered your entry cost. Now, the real question, keep pushing your luck or cash out while you're ahead. Your pack's stuffed with goodies and you're ready to extract. Then, gunfire erupts ahead. What now? Charge in, slip past unseen, or hang back and let them wear each other down before you swoop in. Just remember, die and you lose everything in your backpack except what's safely tucked away in your safe box. You choose to slip away quietly. Smart move! Your pockets are already bursting, but you can't shake that nagging sound of footsteps nearby. Even distant gunfire's enough to send your heart racing. You finally reach the extraction point. The countdown starts. Hold your nerve, don't blow it with 2 seconds left. Extracted. That weight you've been carrying the whole run finally lifts off your shoulders. Sweet relief. Then, there's the ultimate wild card. You stumble on a mandel brick. This thing's worth a small fortune, but the second you pick it up, every player on the map knows exactly where you are. Everyone's coming for you. You go from treasure hunter to hunted in the blink of an eye. Your only goal now? Stay alive long enough to decode it and cash in big. Whatever path you choose, it only counts if you make it out alive. That's operations for you. Every extraction is a story worth telling. Go make yours.
Father, I'm sorry. I couldn't find hold of her.
Clover, only because you saved me can we have this adventure. Come on, Clover. It's time to move.
Rowan Walsh. Codename Rover. Class Support. Rover was once an independent outdoor explorer, documenting his expeditions across some of the world's most extreme environments on social media. His experience in wilderness survival, terrain reconnaissance, and emergency rescue makes him a valuable asset in the field. As an operator, Rover used his outdoor expertise to provide support for his team. Alongside his military dog Clover, he assists with area searches, target tracking, threat detection, and route guidance.
Thank God. All units, the Havoc security team carrying high-value materials is
Rover and Clover share a deep bond built through years of working together. Using his whistle, Rover can call Clover into action. When called to action, Clover pursues nearby enemy targets, dealing damage and applying marks. If no targets are found, Clover maintains vigilant watch from Rover's side.
All right, girl. Where to next? Huh? Where are you taking me?
Welcome back, everybody, to Delta Force Rise Series Season 2 Open Qualifiers. It's all about Americas, and 2 more rounds in front of us. Well, potentially only one. As we head into round 6, 2 teams have officially surpassed match point. But things got interesting, especially towards the tail end of that. DK, we could have had 3, but a disappointing end ultimately brings 38 points for one of the rosters, and now they find themselves having to claw their way back and force an additional round, which could very well happen.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the reality of how things happen here on Delta Force, right? Quite a bit of upsets and excitement at every corner, but of course it's not over just yet. We have to see what is going to be happening and whether or not Pulsar or the side of FL or FR or who else can get their hands in the pie and take the big position for themselves. Pulsar, though, going to be walking away with the 7 kills in the back and 4.3 million in assets. So that is a decent chunk of points that they have coming their way.
Oh, yeah, definitely so, man. Plus 7 kills. Again, when it comes to Pulsar, they've been slaying out better than any other roster competing today. Their biggest issue was their mid-game to late game, not getting the Mandel bricks, not capitalizing. Well, they fix all of that. They managed to get a Mandel brick in the last round, puts them up to 50 points. They are now 1 point away from beating and even surpassing the Fellas when it comes to squad points. Now, all that doesn't matter if Fellas or Pulsar can get the next Mandel Brick. They would then lock it in and be the team to qualify to the next stage. Now, for Fresh Reset, however, disappointing, right? 40 points is where they were at for the longest time, but they could not get the extraction. Pulsar made notes of that. They set up early on, take down Fresh Reset, and drop them down a couple of pegs, 2 to be exact, putting them 2 points below the threshold. Ultimately, this next round could have looked a lot different if Pulsar did not set up at the extraction point early on. But the question is also for chat, No Limit. I know you guys were backing them up for the longest time, and I've started to see their support dwindle. Before, you guys were spamming NL in the chat non-stop, but now you guys have seemingly gone quiet when they need you to be the loudest. Sitting at 26 points, them securing the next Mandel Brick would put them above the point threshold. And I would love, DK, I would love to see a round 7 with 4 teams at match point. That would really start the flex of what this new season, what this new match point format can really bring and open up when it comes to the regular season.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. And of course, looking at round number 6, it means that that Mandel Brick is going to be worth 16 points. So if we could potentially be looking at teams trying to get themselves into the hot mess, which is going to be those match points, this is the round for NL, right? They have to do it in this round. If they don't do it here, it is not going to be on time, right? This is the only way that they could stand a chance to get their say in who locks in that qualifying slot. But of course, it's going to be up to the teams that have that T1 spawn to see if they are going to be the first ones to try and push up onto our first Mandel Brick. And from what we've seen so far, it's not necessarily meant anything, really, right? T1 spawn so far hasn't really resulted in the teams getting quick and easy access to those Mandel Bricks. I mean, especially if you look at the previous Space City that we had, right? We had FL and LM getting the T1 spawns, but Pulsar was the team to pick it up first, and they got the decode with that as well. So, curious to see how round number 6 is going to pan out.
Let's find out as we head into it. It's exciting times for 2 of the rosters who are currently a match point. For FL, they are at least knocking on the door, not only of qualifying, but also being one of the first teams in Delta Force history to get 3 Mandel Bricks within a series. That would be a special occasion. It would make the conversation for FL in the regular season that much more interesting. But for the side of Pulsar, man, they have been fighting so very hard to try and lock this in. They finally get to the opportunity to close it out, but can they get over the finish line? For FL, coming into it, got some purple as well as some gold armor, some Tempest for some other rosters. I do look, though, at FR, man. Rapid this time around is going to have the Tempest. Rapid has been playing very well. FR has been relatively quiet, I guess you could say, but they have an opportunity here to surpass 40 points. They're mad they didn't before, but they've got to fight hard for the Mandel Brick. Now, something new this season that was removed from the previous season is now there will, in fact, be a notification. Whoever is, like, for example, if FL or Pulsar, if they do pick up the Mandel Brick, there will be a notification to the entire lobby that they have it. They're going to be targeted because now we want, right, everybody to challenge them. We don't want it to be a secret. We want the entire lobby to know. Don't make it easy to be the #1 team to qualify.
Yeah, that is what they're going to have to do. And, you know, I love to see it. A lot of pressure coming through as all the alarm bells are going to be sound. And, of course, we'll find out in about 15 seconds or so who will be the first one to have their hand on that Mandel Brick, as Pulsar getting that T1 spawn alongside DeFi. So it is looking pretty good positional-wise. But FL also pretty close. NL sneaking up from that southern edge. So there is going to be a lot of contention coming through. Mandel Brick is active, and now it is going to be a mad dash, a crazy rush to see who will get their first Mandel Brick underway. FL, though, running into the flamethrowers, not being all too phased by it. But, ooh, look at that. Rasta sneaking up on the ramp, pushing it right behind Pulsar. Ooh, could be some excitement here on the northern edge.
Yeah, for sure. For Pulsar, big target on their back. They are one of the teams on match point. Also 1 point away, by the way, catching up to FL, who had a massive lead 2 rounds in a row. At one point over 20. But that lead has dwindled away, putting the pressure back into FL's camp. Well, it's going to be quiet at the moment. It doesn't matter a whole lot, but Defy Dom picks up 4 mil. Picks up 4 mil, dude. That's 2 points going to Defy. Now, granted, they're almost in last place, but you don't see that too often.
No. That's the first micro-reactor that I get to see with my own eyes, being picked up by somebody. An absolute
And it was
crazy,
Defy who
crazy
got
fun.
it, who nearly lost to a shark in the last round. Insanity.
Well, they defy the odds, right? They
There you
defy
go.
the odds. That's what they do.
All right. FL gets the Mando Brick. This is big for them. Currently in first place. Currently a chance to close it out. And also, to win here with 3 Mando Bricks would be insanity. Now, the question is, where to decide to take it? Where is FL going to be going? Well, they're going to go ahead and set up defensively. Luckily for them, there's nobody around them, DK. Nobody is around them so far. There's still plenty of time for people to challenge. It would be so disappointing for FL to win uncontested. And that very well almost happened at EMEA. You've got to fight tooth and nail at this point in time. There is no opportunity to sit back in the back lines. You don't get any consolation prize for getting second, third, fourth place. No, do you only qualify if you get first? And everybody else is so focused on fighting against NL on the back lines that they're almost forgetting how to take priority on FL, who are currently just sitting scot-free.
I mean, it would be quite a bit of an upset here for the teams. Again, one of those shoulda, woulda, coulda situations looking to present itself here potentially. But FR starting to move up as they are heading straight over in the direction of the alley where FL currently find themselves situated. But first things first, right? They're going to have to work their way through a potential bit of contention coming in from the side of Pulsar. Meanwhile, down in the south, it is going to be NL, DeFi, and of course the blades coming through from LM. And a bit of an altercation as it continues here. Ghosty, though, the only player left for his team, and this is going to be putting him in a very, very tough situation. FR currently sitting on 42 points from what we've seen so far, but is that going to mean anything come the end of day, right? They have to be able to get those points out if they want to have their go at winning in round number 7.
DK, this is looking wild. FL still uncontested. We're focused on the fights on the outskirts because this is where the action is. While everybody cannibalizes each other, FL is now just 1 minute and 45 away from qualifying to the regular season because nobody else is getting over to the Mando Brick. Pulsar is there, and I see the arrow starting to move up. So Pulsar is, in fact, going to try and attempt, but time is running thin. There's only 1.5 minutes. Every team has been making these mad dashes to try and get up there, get the last-minute touch. That's where we saw Craig earlier, right from Defy, make that miraculous play. That's how we saw in the last round. Obviously, the team of Pulsar having to make the crazy play. But man, you don't want to leave your tournament life. You don't want to leave the opportunity to qualify on a last-ditch effort to try and get a last-ditch touch. But FL, now just 1 minute away from qualifying. The pressure is truly on. Pulsar is going to lose at least one of the members. And for FL, they're holding on tight. Does it end like this?
Well, I surely hope not. As you can see, FR now trying to move up. Quick play there with the Tempest coming in as FL looks to defend the decoding. But this could be that opportunity. A quick change of hands coming through here as FR, they know they are so close. They can almost taste it, but they just need to get a little bit further. Louder with a quick shutdown coming through there. And this opens up the opportunity now for FR to rush on forward, but they're going to have to act really quickly.
But the question is, will any of the third parties unintentionally take down the team that can extend the life of everybody else? Pulsar starts to move up. They should be able to get a touch. 15 seconds remaining. So dangerously close is going to be Pulsar, but FR is just 12 seconds away from claiming victory. But it's not going to happen. Pulsar in the nick of time with just 10 seconds remaining manages to get the touch. But Pulsar, they're in trouble. There's only one player up. There's only one player to carry the torch, and it's going to be Rogue. But Rogue is carrying that torch. Rogue is looking good, but only for a moment's time as he falls to the wayside, and it brings the opportunity right back to FL to potentially close it out. But can FR Can FR also get back into the fight? It went from nobody in this area to everybody all at once, and certain teams such as Pulsar are paying the consequences.
I mean, what an insane turnaround, right? As you said, went from nobody caring two hoots about what's happening to everybody focusing all their efforts right here. Ooh, nice laptop going through there from SNK7 as well. But let's see, Rasta trying to now do a little bit of something as LM are trying to have their share of the action, starting to apply the pressure. FR going for the wide flank. All they know they got to do at this point is just try and secure as many points as they can to really solidify the 40 points. But they are going to be losing it slowly but surely. Down to 42 they go. 2 definitely needs to lock this one in. Oh, look at like, up he comes. Beautiful spray across the way. Quite a bit of damage being packed on in there. And Light could definitely look to milk the heck out of this. But so much aggression and so much contention in and around that mantle brick.
61 points for FL, such a big point lead. And I hate to say it for the NL fans out there, with NL being fully wiped, they are officially out of contention. Even if they get the 20 points for the mantle brick in the next round, somehow, some way, kill everybody, it's not going to be enough. It's mathematically impossible to surpass the point lead of the FL. So the race now is for 3 teams. The race here is still officially for FL. They can't close it out in round 6. If we do go to a round 7, it'll be FR, Pulsar, and FL all above the point threshold. But all eyes on the mantle brick. It's currently being decoded. It's Defy once again. Defy. I mean, gosh, I don't even know. I'm trying to do the math quickly. I don't... Even if they get this mantle break, I still don't think it's mathematically impossible for them to take first. But you gotta respect, though, Defy fighting until the very end.
Yeah, I think they would need like 13 additional eliminations on top of what they already have. So they've got 2 in the bag. So if they get this mantle break, it's going to be 16 points awarded to them for this one. And then, yeah, they just need to go to town, right? That will put them on 27 points. So they are still 13 points shy. So they're going to have to do a whole lot of farming. But unfortunately, from what we can see, there's only 9 players on this map currently. So they are not going to be able to get sufficient points to get all the way up to 40.
The thing is, Defy is the least threatening team right now. FL is the biggest threat. And FR are very close. And pushing up this ramp is not going to be an easy feat. And in 10 seconds before Defy is able to get the mantle brick, FR is the closest to potentially taking a stab at it. But with Defy starting to get pincered in, FR to their right, FL now pushing up ramp. It's going to be an almost impossible hold, even with just 55 short seconds remaining. Somebody is going to get the touch, and the mantle brick is going to go into the hands of either FR or FL. But the best case scenario for FR in this moment is they take down Defy, they take down FL, they get the much needed points that they need. And Defy is starting to fall to the wayside. Dom is going to put up a last-ditch effort to try and hold on to what they got, but the pressure is too real. FR is moving up, and they're about to get the touch. They're about to take the mantle brick for themselves. The pre-fire is in, but it's not going to connect with anything. FR takes it now 2 minutes and 20 seconds away, but they don't have a chance to rest. They don't have a chance to rest because FL is continuing to push up. Dom, the last-ditch effort. I cannot believe it. Takes down 2 players, Kute and Loud, from the side of FR. Only 1 remaining. FL now has 3 players last up. They put the pressure onto Dom. They take him down. Defy is out of the way. Then they only have to focus on a solo. Defy officially gone. FL about to take control of the mantle brick once again. And for Rapid, he has time to recover, at least get 1 teammate back into play. But FL, this is all but theirs.
Yeah, and FL now, they are going to be camping that body. There is going to be no chance, like things currently are situated, for FR to get themselves back in the fight. Oh, the Rapid, beautiful trade. 1 down, goes for 2, but gets taken down. Yes!
That's it! It's official. FL will be moving on to the regular season. When it comes to the Americas, what a battle. The last one standing. They were the first team to reach match point by securing 2 mantle bricks in a row in rounds 3 and 4. They maybe fell a bit short on round 5, where Pulsar was able to take the mantle brick for themselves, but round 6, they strike back. The first team to get 3 Mandelbricks in one series. The new format benefiting them all the way. S&K like Jinx playing so very well to the very end. They fought tooth and nail. They fought as hard as they possibly could, but it ended up paying off as they will get the last Mandelbrick required to end it in match point, end it in just 6 rounds. But what a heartbreaking loss, DK, for Pulsar, for FR, for NL. All of them fighting so very hard, but falling short in the end.
Yeah, that is just the unpredictability that we've seen in these rounds, but you got to give it up. You know, this was such a sweaty round. Of course, we were kind of expecting some pretty high stakes to come through, but that is now the 3rd Mandelbrick that FL has been able to decode. So a great run here coming through for them. And of course, as we know, once that Mandelbrick is decoded pretty soon, we are going to be ending the round here as well, because there's nobody left and there's no reason to continue to drag it out. Either which way, this is going to be quite a few celebratory hits going off in the background, and the job is done. Extraction, few seconds, and then it is officially confirmed. FL going to be moving up, and the sounds of victory coming through on their end, just so satisfying. 83 points though, absolutely crazy.
Yeah, crazy to think of. They double in the end, right? The match point threshold, which is at 40, they get 83. But the most impressive thing to me is the consistency in closing out rounds. To get 3 Mandelbricks speaks volumes about what this roster is going to be bringing for the Americas region when it comes to the regular season. You know, when you think about match point, it's about closing it out, right? Can you close out effectively? It's one thing to get points. It's one thing to reach the match point threshold. It's another to close out the round itself. Well, clearly here, FL has proven 3 times over that they understand how to play the Mandelbrick. They understand how to be the closers, and that's what makes them even more deadly playing against the other teams in the regular season coming up. A wonderful job. Very well done from FL. And they're right to celebrate, man. They fought hard. They really did. But once they got first place, DK, they never let it go. Nobody was successful in overtaking them in first place, not only when it comes to Mandelbricks, but points as a whole.
Yeah, and I mean, they got a back-to-back Mandelbrick, right? Coming in off of the final Brakkesh that we had heading into our very first Space City as well. So, again, it just echoes the effort that they've been able to bring on through. It just shows why they are so deserving of what they've just accomplished here, right? They got that little final qualification slot to close off our final few teams to make it into the league stage. So I'm super excited to see what it is that the fellas are going to be bringing to the table, right? Is it going to be absolute sweats across the board? We don't know just yet, but hey, we are here and we are signed up to see all the insanity that these teams will have for us.
Absolutely. What an event it was. Americas, you said it best, DK. They should be faster paced at EMEA, and my goodness, were they. They were not shy about taking fights, whether it was fights against each other or fights with sharks. We got a little bit of everything when it came to the Americas region. Such a blast it was. And it's going to only get better from here, right? Going into the regular season, we're going to see the best of the best Delta Force has to offer when it comes to the Rise Series Season 2, all competing for some could be called life-changing money, right? So, I mean, EG was able to earn 60K before, but it's not even just this regular season. You also have the opportunity to potentially play at the Invitational, which is even more money, a bigger audience, and just a life-changing experience as a whole. Money aside, Delta Force doing a lot of things right, DK.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much that you can fault with how these teams have been pacing it. And I think especially looking at Season 2 and the new way it works, right? The pressure being applied onto the squads to successfully get those Mandelbrick extractions and the value brought along with it really change up the dynamics of how these teams look to address each and every round. As you've seen now, FL just capitalizing on consistency and, of course, walking away with 83 points in total. That is a pretty hefty number to have in the bag, and you know, it all paid off, and we did see some pretty exciting reds as well.
Yeah, for sure. But man, to sober the mood up just a little bit, celebrating the fellas, celebrating FL. Man, Pulsar, they fought so very hard to close out, and they just could not get over that hump. They reach match point. They play round 5, I should say, masterfully. Man, Grimmy was just giving it his all. There was a couple of mistakes, yes, but you go back to where Pulsar, again, they take the Mantle Brick in round 4, they break their legs, they don't get away with it, and they ultimately end up losing. I know that's going to come back to haunt them. I almost second guess, like, if they do walk away, right, with the amount that they were slaying out, if they were able to traverse up to the northern side, DK, as you pointed out, right, going up there, the aggressive teams love it because they love to fight, and they can win fights. That's typically why they go to the north. I think Pulsar, if they get free and clear, if they're able to get past the zip and get all the way up to the northern point, I think they honestly win. I think they qualify. I really do, but it just wasn't in the cards today.
Yeah, it's a tough one, right? That is all part of the excitement, then it's all part of the gamble, and sometimes these teams gamble quite a bit trying to push up because it's always so unexpected. They could at any point be a team popping around the corner, running up a ramp, looking to just upset your day, and well, at the end of the day, it is all down to who has the highest survivability. And I mean, I gotta say, it has resulted into a very, very exciting Open Qualifier day that we've had so far, and I'm super stoked to see what is going to be happening once we step into a league, because adding a little bit of that new flavor into what we've seen back in Season 1 is really going to help continue to keep things fresh and very exciting.
Yeah, and speaking of fresh reset, man, what a reset it was. You know, staying together, they had two teammates stay together, and that was Rapid and Loud. They bring in Tute, coming from BTH Esports. You talk about a brilliant start from FR. I mean, they look so strong. What, 34 points I think they were at, but like round 2, round 3, they were knocking on the door of match point, but then ultimately, as we know, they wouldn't actually reach it. They never were able to get past that point, and what a devastating ending it was in round 5, getting sniped by the NPC to finish them off, knock them down 2 points. How things could have been different in round 6 if Fresh Reset was able to stay alive and ultimately extract.
Yeah, I think it would have made for a very, very good comeback story, you know, really help carry a bit of a flow moving into Season 2, but, you know, at the end of the day, the cookie crumbles the way it goes, and that's just what it is, right? You can try as hard as you want, but if it's not fated to be, it is simply just the case, and you gotta have to just accept it and come back in Season 3, right?
That's right.
Get stronger and play like monsters if you go through the qualification stage yet again, and I'm looking forward to potentially seeing even more teams returning back to Season 3 once we get there.
Yeah, for sure. And you mentioned Monster. Like a Monster, shout out to them. They came in, I think, the lowest playing time collectively compared to everybody else, but still made it to this stage. For all the 6 teams who made it to the Open Qualifiers, made it to the final stage of the qualifiers, rather, big ups to you. I mean, what a gauntlet you had to go through. So many teams you had to battle. To make it top 6 is a massive accomplishment. You miss out on regular season, yes. However, you still hold your head up high for being some of the best players the Americas region has to offer when it comes to Delta Force competitive. But like a Monster, shout out to you guys. And Defy as well. Defy, I have so much appreciation for them, DK, for playing as well as they did and not giving up despite all looking lost in the very end, fighting for the Mantle Brick. Remember, they were one of the first guys to actually get their hands on it, put it in, and try and decode it. They do fall short, yes, but I gotta appreciate their fighting spirit. And Craig, DK, Craig gave us one of the best moments I think both of the qualifiers had to give us.
Yeah, I was gonna give a shout out to Craig and just say, you know, what an exciting bit of action they brought to the battlefield here, just keeping everybody on their toes. You know, you can never be too safe, and I want to see where this could potentially go for Craig, right? Whether or not the entirety of DeFi could be a team that we can see in future coming in and really looking to contest against the opposition here and bring a bit of their own level of excitement into what we've been seeing so far. But yeah, I mean, that means, of course, that we are just getting that much closer to Season 2 to see exactly what the teams are going to be bringing in once we get into the league stage. And I mean, last season, Open Qualifiers were hella exciting, and then we made it into league, and it just went even further. But here we have it, the final leaderboard for the day. It is going to be the fellas sitting right there at the tippity top. 26 kills in the bag for a grand total of 83 squad points.
That's it. 83 is insane. They look to be very, very strong heading into the regular season. But shout out to Pulsar, Fresh Reset, for getting as far as they did and playing as well as they did. Very talented rosters. Would love to see them stick together and have a future in Delta Force competitive. I really would, because I think they bring a lot to the table. For No Limit, fan favorite, but fall very short. They will not qualify. Alongside that, a Defy and Like a Monster. But shout out to them for playing into the very end. And for Defy, you were definitely a treat to watch. And Craig, shout out to you, man, again, for one of the most incredible moments I think we had in both of the qualifiers. But fellas, the fellas move forward. Question is, will they be the fellas when they enter the regular season, or is it Org going to snap them up? I don't know. I think I definitely would. They look to be excited. 43 Mandelbrick points because they win 3 Mandelbrick rounds. The narratives go on, and the fellas continue to just prove their worth. Like Bullets, SNK, Jinx, a job well done. There it is. Fellas will qualify officially to the regular season. A job well done. Now, how will they do in regular season? Well, I don't know. The competition will only get stiffer. All right, so I think we do have an interview, if I'm not mistaken. Who do we got? Jinx, now, Jinx, what's up? It is Jinx,
Hello,
right?
there.
I want to make sure I'm saying it right.
Yes, it is Jinx. It is.
Okay, shout out to you, Jinx. First off, well done, man.
Thank you.
You qualify for the regular season. A lot to ask you, but I'm going to open with the simple one, nice and easy. How you feeling, brother?
Oh, I'm feeling so well, bro. Feeling so well. Such a new team. We have pretty much like 5 days together. We've been playing screens for a month and a half only, and nothing else. And they have a lot of time in the game playing globally, like just ranking and stuff. But I have like 600 hours only, so I was really late behind the party. So it was tough for us. It was tough.
That's interesting. So I wasn't accounting to ask you this, but I guess I have to. I mean, tell me about your Delta Force history. Then 600 hours isn't a lot. You don't have to mention the names of the other games, but I mean, do you come from other games competitively? Because only having 600 hours, I assume you've been successful in other titles.
Yes, I've been competing on another game. I've been playing for 5 years. I have like around 11,000 hours. So that's probably why it was quick to adapt, I guess, to this game.
Wow,
Well,
I can definitely tell. Well done, dude.
Thank you.
11,000 is quite a bit of a flex coming through here, but yeah, first up, Jinx, absolutely phenomenal gameplay. I like the fact that you were the one for your team to get those extractions every single time, right? We did see that happen on Brakkesh, and of course you did that over on Space City, really capitalizing on the value. Now, this is where I want to ask you, was there one decision that you made today that you think made the biggest difference between your team and everybody else?
I think the first brick was the biggest difference by far. The first break, we pretty much called everything out. All of the ultis, all of the tacticals and everything. So everything we did, we called out before. So it was really tight. Really tight. That was the one.
Well, we also did see that things were pretty tight around and in around the Mantle Brick, as you said, right? So some pretty difficult decisions that had to be made there. But was there any particular part of information that you got from your team that really helped you communicate effectively to make sure that you can defend it as long as you had?
To be honest, I would say everything. They call the characters, if they are on purple, on gold, and then since we know which characters some teams have and some teams don't, we make notes on Discord for that. So we already instantly know which team isn't going to be on the fights. So that helps a lot. That helps a fuck ton. So it's pretty good to make decisions.
No, it's great. It seems like you guys have a lot of team chemistry despite not playing together for the longest time, which is going to be incredibly valuable. You know, going to the regular season, the competition only gets stiffer, right? It only gets more difficult. You're going to have a lot more competition that's going to make it harder. But one thing that I appreciate about your team specifically, because I watched EMEA qualifiers earlier. Rain ended up qualifying. Obviously, here in the Americas, a lot different. I felt the competition actually was a lot more aggressive and stiffer. But you guys get 3 Mandel bricks, which is unheard of when it comes to Delta Force competitive. And now that we're transitioning into the match point format, getting those Mandel bricks is going to be imperative. In fact, it's going to be everything. So as a team, what's your focus going into each and every game outside of Zero Down, right, where there's only an airdrop to fight for? What's your guys' ideology for fighting for the Mandel bricks and ultimately closing out games?
We are always fighting for the Mandel brick. That's our ideology. And in terms of my team specifically, I would say Quite different from the other game I was playing competitively. They are very humble teammates. One of them is 17 years old only, extremely humble, and the other one is pretty much the best person I have ever competed with. Like, he's never tilted. Like every single match, we know what was the mistakes, what to do better and stuff. So we always playing for the brick, and since it is very dangerous and quite aggressive every single time, right? There's a lot of mistakes to be happened. So we work to fix that every single time.
Absolutely. Jinx, I mean, I can't overstate how impressive your guys' gameplay was. Reaching match point in the way you did, never giving up first place, getting 3 Mandel bricks. You look like to be one of the scariest teams going into the regular season. So with that said, I give you the floor, man. Shout out who you want to shout out, whoever you owe this accomplishment to, what it means to you. The floor is yours to say what you want. Just don't get too crazy.
Yeah. First of all, to all of our families on our team, be helping us together to maintain this kind of routine, right? Since we have been screaming pretty much the entire day. So that takes a toll on the family as well, right? So, and my teammates, again, they are the best. Nothing else to say. They are just the best. Literally the best.
Right on, Jinx. Again, well done, bro. The way that you guys played, absolutely incredible. Love that you shouted out the family, because, yeah, the screaming and stuff, I get it. It gets loud sometimes, but you know what? It's worth it. Because you're fighting for something big. And going to regular season, I cannot wait to see what you guys are able to accomplish.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Of course, brother. That's Jinx. DK, the fact that they formed their team just a month and a half ago is insanity to me. Really streaming or scrimming, I should say, over the past 5 days, he only has 600 hours, and he's beating some guys that quite literally have over 4,000. DK, I love open qualifiers. I love that Delta Force is giving the chance to players like him, players who are only 17 years old, to play a game and now qualify for the regular season. And who knows? Could be competing in the future in China, competing at the Invitational. Delta Force is giving an opportunity for players to live out their competitive dreams.
Well, I can tell you one thing, it is going to be quite an interesting day here as, I've been put to the proper test to see how good my lip reading skills are, because unfortunately...
Go for it.
I didn't hear all too much of that, but you know what was interesting for me from the interview that we just... I believe you. It looked really good, right? But what was interesting and a good takeaway for me from this interview that we just had with the fellas is there was one team in the previous season that also said their priority is Mandel bricks. Do you know which team that was? The Evil Geniuses.
Okay.
And they're the team that won Season 1. So, if that's anything to go by, I think there could be some excitement up into Season 2 to look what the fellas are going to be bringing to the table here.
Absolutely, and the big takeaway is, again, that just Delta Force has opened up the opportunity to really live out the competitive dreams, right? An open qualifier, it's not very common anymore, especially feeding into the main event, feeding into a regular season. It's truly special, but you're right, to challenge and have the same game plan of Evil Geniuses, it's a good call out, is going to make the regular season even more exciting, because now we got a team that is all about the Mandel bricks. They're all about risking it all. And today, it paid off. Will it pay off in the regular season? Well, we hope so anyways, especially after hearing their journey and hearing what they've gone through. A wonderful day, DK. As we get out of here and close out the show, what's your final words?
Well, based on what we've seen so far today, coming through the Open Qualifiers, I think it is going to be an absolutely wild ride going through Season 2. So, for the viewers, if you guys have not yet subscribed and you have not yet downloaded Delta Force to try your hand at the insanity that we've been witness to here today, what's wrong with you? Go ahead, download the link, make sure that you get some of that Delta Force either on your device or get it over on your PC or on your console if you've not yet done it. And we could potentially be looking at you if there is going to be another Open Qualifier.
That's right, and we'll definitely be keeping our ears out for that one, especially if you follow all the socials when it comes to Delta Force. So much happening in big positive ways, and shout out to making dreams happen, right? Especially when we're talking about FL. The fellas Will they be the fellas going into regular season, or will some orgs see the value and pick them up? I hope so, for sure. But what a day it's been with the EMEA qualifiers and America's qualifiers. We now know our regular season is set to be historic and be epic, especially with the new format with Match Point. It's looking exciting for the regular season. But for today, unfortunately, it's coming to an end. For myself, Taylor, Reflections, Double DK, our production crew, and you in chat, thank you so much for being here. Make sure you hit the follow, subscribe button wherever you're watching, because we're gonna be back for another Delta Force Rise Series Season 2 regular season.
One down, the other running away! You gotta go for the steal!